Welcome to GenX Adulting. And today we have Whitney Kell with us in the studio. Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here. And our first question is always, what year were you born?
1971.
The best year.
Yeah, it was. Oh.
That's our year too. So we love to have our fellow Gen Xers that were 1971 babies because it's the best. And where were you born?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay. And were your parents from Portland?
Mm-hmm.
How many generations back would you say?
Grandma and Grandpa were from Portland, Oregon too. Her mom came through Canada.
Okay.
She's Russian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is that your mom's mom or your dad's mom?
My dad's mom.
So she came from Russia over to Canada and then down to Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And your grandfather, did she meet him when she got to Portland?
I believe so.
Okay.
There's certain parts of the story don't have clarity around, but I did my ancestry.com and I'm 1% Icelandic.
Oh, cool. Nice. And then what about your mom's parents?
Well, that's a little more shady.
Okay.
Mom was brought up in foster care.
Okay. So you're not sure.
I know her mom, but her mom was having a good time. So she had 3 daughters with 3 different men.
Okay. And is this all in Portland?
It was all in Portland.
Okay.
That's where it all happens, right, Nicole?
Oh, definitely. Full disclosure, Whitney and I went to high school together.
Yes, we did.
We weren't besties in high school. Our high school was the largest high school in Oregon at the time. So we had a huge graduating class and lots of kids, but we did know each other. We just didn't hang in the same groups, but I know we probably were at some similar parties together. So what's cool about this, as a side note, is we're kind of reconnecting midlife and really getting to know each other for the first time. And we went to lunch before a couple months ago and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so awesome just to really get to know you. So, and we're so happy that you're here to share your story because even though I knew you then, I didn't know you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even know ourselves, right?
Yeah, I thought Nicole was this popular cheerleader.
And I wasn't a cheerleader. So we definitely didn't know each other. Okay. So how did your parents meet?
Mom and dad, how did they meet? Gosh. I have no idea. That is such a good question. I cannot believe I don't know the answer to that.
Do you know how old they were when they met?
20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they get married?
Yeah.
And are you their only child?
My sister is 16 months older than me. Morgan.
Okay.
Morgan lives in Ocala and Tennessee.
Okay. So Irish twins. You guys were very close together, 16 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So they got married. Do you know what your dad did?
My dad was a cop.
All right. And was your mom a stay-at-home mom or did she work?
She did nails.
Okay. So she hustled.
But she's stay-at-home mom mostly. No, I think she did nails after we started to get older, but I don't remember her working when I was young. But in all fairness, I don't remember a ton of my childhood.
Okay.
For very specific reasons, I suspect. But.
Okay. Did that start? Okay. So when they were married and they had you, your dad's a cop, your mom's home in the beginning, raising you and your sister. Yeah. You guys go to elementary school. You think that's around the time she probably started working outside the home doing nails?
Well, okay. So one of my girlfriends is very intuitive, psychic, and she touched my neck. She's like, what is this? What is this? She goes, what happened between the ages of 5 and 6 where your father no longer felt safe having you alone with your mother?
Okay.
So between the ages of 5 and 6, what grade are we in?
That's kindergarten.
Okay. So that's when the marriage ended.
Okay. So there was physical abuse?
So what happened was we were all at Willamette Park and we were at the police picnic. And when my dad came back to find me and my sister, I think she was passed out and I was missing. So they took all the cops and they split up and they got out into the park to find me. And apparently I was on the other side of the park by the water.
Oh my gosh.
And my father no longer safe having me alone with my mother. And it was funny because my girlfriend did this reading for me and I typed it up and sent it to my dad with lots of detail. I recorded it. And my dad said, yeah, this is what happened.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when he realized my mom was an alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So your mom was an alcoholic.
Young. So they separated when I was.
Okay. So those formative years of 0 to 5, when you were with your mom, she was probably drinking.
I think it happened gradually because we had some good times. She made all of our clothing. They were very happy seeming for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my dad punching a hole in the wall. I remember my mom got a DUI.
Okay.
Yeah, I started to have moments of distressful memories.
Okay. Was he an alcoholic or have any substance issues?
You know, I would imagine grandma and grandpa, you know, we go to grandma and grandpa's house. I don't know if you guys had the same kind of grandma and grandpa, but they were always smoking cigarettes and drinking bourbon and Coke. It was like full in the closet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my dad was a cop, and my sister just shared a story because my dad just passed away in October, and my sister just shared a story with all our cousins. It brought us all closer. Once a month, we do a cousin call.
That's awesome.
It's so fun.
Oh, that's a great
idea.
idea.
And my sister told me that she told everybody in the truck, my dad was driving, he stuck a beer between her legs. So, you know, my dad was like us. I guess when were we brought up? We were brought up in the 70s. So I'm going to guess that drinking beer while you're driving and you're
roadies.
Yeah.
Roadies. Everyone had a roadie. And it was very normal. I know that we were
100%.
Around that. And as far as the cigarette smoke, everyone smoked in the house, in the car.
Windows closed.
Oh, yeah. We were, secondhand smoke babies, 100%.
Right.
Okay. So your parents divorced.
Yeah.
Do you and your...
Well, they first separated and they lived in the house that I was raised in on Leahy Road.
Okay.
And my dad moved into the basement.
Interesting. So they're still existing in the same home under the same roof. How long did that go on for?
I think a year. My mom had parties. My mom was a party girl. I don't know if you remember our parties when we were young, but
I think when we were teenagers, I feel like I was there.
Well, we'll get there. But,
yeah.
So when I was really young, my mom was already a partier.
Okay.
So she would throw parties, and my dad was down in the basement listening to Barbra Streisand. And, you know, I think he was in love with her, and he was so disappointed that she turned out not to be the kind of person that he'd hoped for, because she was beautiful and fun. My mom was so much fun.
Yeah. So probably,
Wild.
So that's just an interesting thing to picture is your dad is kind of downstairs in his own world. And then upstairs is this completely other world of partying. And he must have been going through it for sure.
I imagine.
So then when the year was up, did he move out?
Yeah, he did finally move
And then did you girls stay with your mom or go with him?
Oh yeah, he took us.
Okay.
I do remember my mom took off to Palm Springs or something, and then he just took us, and I didn't see my mom again until I turned 14.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So like from 7 to 14.
Probably.
Because if they were together for a year under this, did they divorce officially?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you lived with your dad, still in Beaverton?
Yeah, he was across the street from Cedar Mill.
Okay.
We were on Cornell Road.
All right. So you and your sister are now living with your dad. So did you go to, what was the elementary? Was it Cedar Mill?
Mm-hmm.
And then you didn't go to Cedar Park though, right?
Yeah. I went to Cedar
so you
Park
went to Cedar
too.
Park. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were at the same junior high.
Yeah, we were at the same.
Okay. So when you were with your dad, did he remarry?
He did. Now, on the last cousin call we had, a couple women were shown in their photos, and they still know these women, and they were the girlfriend of my father. And I slightly remember them, but not really.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I heard they were really nice,
Okay.
nice women. But my dad married my step monster, Judy, who is a narcissist. And, you know, he just passed away in October, and she told me that she wasn't going to have, she told all of us that she wasn't going to have his funeral till the spring. But my cousins saw the announcement because they still live in Portland. And so, well, it was in Sisters, but they saw the announcement.
Yeah.
And so we went, me and my cousins went to the funeral, uninvited, unannounced, and kind of shocked everybody. It was so fun. It was, you know, those feelings of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then there she is. And she never said one word.
So you guys didn't talk or anything?
No. And, you know, I think about, it could have been so different.
Yeah.
God.
So the issue is she's a narcissist. So you have a narcissistic parent, co-parent in the house. And I'm sure there was no way for your father to control her if she was a narcissist in the way she treated you guys, I assume.
Right. Well, and when I listened to him, he was a chaplain for the police department for over 20 years. So the first responders all talked on his behalf. There was no one from his family at the funeral except for the first responders. And they'd say, he's a born again Christian. So Dave was there praying for the families. He was always there. And they said he was always there, which told me a lot. You know, like it was beautiful to get to know my father through these people. and how much they respected him.
So when you were growing up with her in the house, did she alienate you guys from your father? Isolate you guys?
Remember Jill Morrell? Can I say people's names? I hope that's okay, Jill.
Yeah.
When we did, I think we were at one of our high school reunions. I remember her saying, do you remember when your stepmom locked us in the garage? She locked us in the basement. She put us in we had a trailer that was parked outside, and she put us in there too. Like, she just didn't want to have us around.
Like when you would have friends spend the night, she would then just lock you guys up.
See, again, the memory's very limited. So I didn't remember that when Jill told me, but I'm sure she's telling the truth. There's certain things I do remember, but for the most part, it was just really tough to not be loved, like to be with somebody who really wishes you weren't there, like treats you like it. But I just realized after the funeral, she was just so unhappy. You know, people who hurt people. I mean, there's such truth to that.
Yes. But if you're dealing with narcissism, in general, I find they lack compassion and empathy. Right. So it's hard to feel compassion and empathy for them because they're so devoid of it and hurt people so deeply. So sometimes I understand hurt people, and I do try to find empathy and compassion for where people are coming from. But I personally am challenged finding it when it comes to a narcissist.
Well, it's a mental illness.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, I mean, I'm sober from alcohol for 25 years. Yeah. And I think my mom was probably bipolar alcoholic. She just didn't know. So she used alcohol instead of regular drugs to numb and medicate. I think most people have some level of
something for sure. Well, think about how when we grew up, mental illness was a bad word. No one talked about mental illness. No one talked about depression. I mean,
there was no mental illness. There was, that person they're just a little off.
It was a stigma.
Yeah.
It was an absolute stigma. So whereas the Gen Zers talk about it like, I'm going to go take a shower and I'm depressed and it's normal. And they all support each other and they talk about their anxiety. It's a beautiful thing. But for us, it was like, no one talks about it. And certainly our parents, no one talked about it for them. So they suffered and self-medicated. Yep. So, okay. So when you were in elementary school and junior high, so your home life is the way it is. Did you find any reprieve at school? Was there a balance there, or was school rough?
School was tough too. Now, I just want to say we lived in multiple houses. She had a ranch. It was called Apple Hill Ranch on Ash Street. I lived right down the street from Mark Anderson. Do you remember Mark Anderson? And the ranch was amazing, and the house was really cool. So we had she had money. So it was. She worked for Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation too.
It's a good job.
Yeah, she was a badass. So there were things that I'm sure and feel that are part of who I am because of that, right? There's shadow and medicine and everything. So to your point about it being, that mental illness and not finding empathy, I have found the positive for myself because I've had to, to see where have I benefited from that experience. Yeah. So as far as bouncing around homes, that kept it a little interesting. School was not safe. For me, school was a lot of bullying. I have congenital defect on my hand, but one of my girlfriends who's also handicapped, who never got made fun of, she's one of my besties, and her husband's kind of a celebrity. I'm not going to say her name, but she has a walk and a cane, and she's little, and no one made fun of her in high school. And she said, "Whit, I think they would have found something else to make fun of you if it wasn't your fingers." I don't think that's why they did that. It was because I was so broken inside. I was abandoned by my mom. That was the story, because my mom took off. Yeah. My dad kidnapped us, and then we moved out. And then he met the evil step monster, and we moved in with her. And the story that we create when we're little is a lot more dramatic than the one that's actually there, I believe. Not always. I mean, some kids have, I was fortunate not to have a lot of sexual abuse, although I think most women have some tiny bit. Yeah. We all get exposed to it a little bit, maybe men too. But, I didn't have a lot of violent physical abuse. Most of it was emotional. So the stuff at school was scary. My stepmom wouldn't let us wash our hair but once a week. So, and then the clothing. She had money, but she wouldn't let us wear cute clothes. So I would hide my clothes out in the bushes when we lived on Cornell, and I would change my clothes. So I'd leave the house in one outfit and change my clothes. my sister saw me doing it, so she started doing it. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and wash my hair because I was bullied at school. It was really hard.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is. Most kids know how hard it is.
Oh yeah. And
Kids
especially
are
where we
mean.
grew up too. I mean, it was brutal.
It was
I
brutal.
went through my own, oh my God, 6th grade. I'm not going to say her name, but because you would know who it is. But I'll tell you off the record when this is over who it is. But she bullied me so bad in 6th grade that every day I didn't know if I had friends or not, because she would tell everyone to be my friend one day.
I think I remember.
And then she would tell them not to be my friend.
I think she had a mental illness, because I always thought that maybe there was a little
I don't know. I don't know. But that year, but so just that brutalness of that, I still remember it.
Yeah.
So I feel like where we grew up in Beaverton was harsh. And I know Sparta, where you grew up, was very, like, brands mattered, money mattered. Everyone wanted to know what brand your clothes were, how much everything cost, what vacations you were going on. It just was so hard to keep up. And then if you're in that situation where you have a parent that is sabotaging your life, basically, you can only wash your hair. Come on.
I do have a question. So it sounds like you and your sister got equal treatment from her.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you.
No,
Okay.
My sister just isn't as resourceful as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Still in life, I love her. And I'm sober for 25 years.
Yeah.
I was always resourceful and able to look outside the box. So I came up with all kinds of creative ways, and then she would follow me.
So how did you said you changed clothes. How did you get the clothes you changed into?
I just shove them in my backpack.
But like,
so
where
we
did
had
they come?
clothes. We had clothes. She just
Oh.
wouldn't let us wear them. She controlled every part of our life, which I think is narcissist behavior.
Yeah.
So I didn't have control over anything.
Almost like she was competing with you and your sister for your dad's attention at a
so
basic level, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what our narcissism is insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's next level when you're the adult in the room and there's kids involved. That's really kind of fucked up, obviously.
So that was through elementary school, junior high. Did it go into high school?
When I turned 14, I was given a 10-speed bicycle, and I rode my bike. Well, Rhonda Condre, I don't know if you remember Rhonda. Bless you, Rhonda, if you're out there. Her mom and my mom were best friends, and her mom had told Rhonda that she missed us and she wanted to see us. So I jumped on that 10-speed. I got that for my 14th birthday and rode my bike. It was funny because the address was, can I say the address? Should I not say it? It's the same address.
Okay.
So where we lived at that Apple Hill Ranch and where the address was on Leahy Road was the same address, the same numbers.
Oh, how weird.
And I'm into numerology, so it's really interesting that the numbers are the same. But it wasn't far to ride.
Yeah.
So I rode the bike over to my mom's house. She cried when she saw me the instant she saw me. And
I can't imagine.
it was just so good to reunite, to feel loved for the first time in so long by a woman.
How many years was that gap?
7?
You had said it, but
about 7, 8 years. 7
So
and a half.
were you didn't even see her on holidays or anything?
So one of the things that happened was that they showed us photos. She got a DUI. So they made it look like she was a witch, which she was. So the hippie witch.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
He would show, they programmed us not to want to see her. But what I found out later is she was sending us stuff and they hid it from us.
Oh my God.
So she'd been wanting to see us the whole time, but they hid all, my stepmom actually, stuffed animals, cards, gifts. We didn't get any of it. So, and then the other, okay. So wait, let me slow down. So that's the story there. What was
we're just trying to figure out, like, she didn't see you for 7 years.
Right.
So you're saying she did try. She tried to send you stuff on your birthday, Christmas, but
Oh, you're a mom, so you can hear that you knew when she sent us.
Of course. Yeah. No, I'm horrified right now for your mom. So, and then the stepmom was hiding these things.
Yeah. They didn't give them to us.
So was your mom not able to go to the physical house you were at? Was there some sort of restraining order or something legally, a reason she couldn't just show up?
Well, when I went over there and met her, she's just a mess, crying all the time and stuff. And, she drank. So I think that maybe she didn't do the courageous thing. And then she felt less than. Of course, she's insecure. My dad's a cop, the law, but she got the house. So she was at my home that they built and that I grew up in. So when I went over there, we just bonded. And she said, "Hey, would you move back in?" And I said, "Yes, tomorrow."
Wow.
So when we went back home to see Miss Judy,
the
love of my life, and she was like, I said, I saw my mom. And she's like, oh, you did? And I said, yeah. And I'm going to move in with her. And she goes, oh, that's great. You can see the relief. And I said,
Wow.
Tomorrow. And she said, well, no, we got to tell your dad. And she started like getting uncomfortable with that. But when she dropped us off tomorrow, she said, don't call again for 30 days.
Why? Why 30 days?
We didn't see my dad again till my mom passed away 25 years ago.
Wow. So you and your sister left.
Yeah.
And we're now living with your mom.
Yeah.
And so your high school years were with your mom.
But I want to say this one part is that when I went back and said I'm leaving, my sister was a mess. She did not want to leave.
How come, do you think?
Well, I think that people who are abused sometimes want to stay with their abuser. She loved my dad. She was daddy's little girl. So
little Stockholm syndrome there, probably.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
It's where you start to empathize and connect with your captor.
No, that wasn't it. Because we really hated her. She was like, we wrote stories about her. They would scream at each other on a regular basis. So that wasn't really it. I think she just didn't want to leave my dad. And she felt abandoned by my mom. She was older, almost 2 years.
Right.
So
Yes.
she experienced that whole situation much differently. So I try to have empathy for where she's at in life versus what I chose as my path. So it's not easy, but I do try to do that.
No, I mean, I can understand the resentment and feeling abandoned by your mom. And I'm sure you probably had some of that too, I would assume.
I never did. Like the therapist I had, she goes, can you get angry at your mom? I just want you to get angry. She was raised in foster care. She was raped. She had all kinds of hard life. I met her mom. Her mom was not a great person. She was addicted to drugs. I mean, my mom got passed around foster care and she had a mom. So it was just like rough to get angry at my mom. And my mom was fucking cool. Like she was fun and funny. And we had when we were sober, we had the best time together. When we drank, we had a little rougher time.
Yeah. Did she drink with you guys?
Oh yeah, we drank and did all kinds of things together.
In high school?
I think I was in junior high when I got an A+ on one of my economics. We made these little peanut people and I sold them. I'm trying to remember is it Davis? Was it Mr. Davis?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Are you talking about home ec?
It was Cedar Park.
Home ec?
No, it was economics.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
I remember it was Davis.
I think you're right though.
Eric's somebody's sister was married to him.
Okay.
Anyways, I love that guy. He was the football coach too. He was amazing.
Okay,
Really cute. And we just got along. I don't know why he liked me, but we had a great relationship. But my mom and I stayed up all night on crystal meth and made the peanut people. And
you were in 8th grade?
Yeah, I got the crystal for her too. Like it wasn't like, I mean, my bestie, who I will not mention since like you said, I don't know. But her sister's boyfriend made it in the bathtub.
So your bestie's sister's boyfriend made meth in the bathtub and you knew about this and bought it and then...
No, they gave it to us. We never had to buy anything.
They gave it to you for free?
Oh, yeah.
Had you done it before you did it with your mom that time? So when was the first time you did crystal meth?
Probably tail end of 14.
Okay, so that's 8th grade, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's so interesting to me because I had no clue that was even an option at that age. Do you feel that was an isolated incident or was there a group of kids that were doing crystal meth that we were going to school with?
Well, okay. So while we were talking about this, I was thinking, when was the first time I ever did cocaine? And that was at one of the parties we had in high school. But I'd started crystal younger. So because it was easy to access and it was cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's practically free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, there was a group of people and yes, I was associated with them. And yes, you probably know some of them.
Yeah. I just
had
had no idea.
I'm still Facebook friends with some of them. I think some of them have sobered up, but some of the other ones have disappeared. So my assumption is they didn't. I mean, that's a hard thing to get off of.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I stopped at 21. All of it. But though, crystal and coke, I stopped at 21. But let's not go too fast and too far because we're in high school now. We were throwing parties. And I remember the first time I did cocaine with my best friend's brother and all the older boys. And that was fun. Mom was out of town.
So, but you were, so you did crystal meth in 8th grade. You did crystal meth with your mom to stay up and do a project.
Yep.
So she was aware of all this.
Whoa, was it, did you stay up to do the project or was that the celebration?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it was both.
Okay.
I think I had to go to school the next day. I was sweaty, you know, that look that people have after they've been up all night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and then did you continue to party with her?
Oh, yeah.
That was like a normal thing.
Oh, yeah. So I remember we had a huge group of high schoolers over. Again, you'd probably know some of their names. And they threw a big chunk of cocaine onto the pool table. We had a pool table. And everybody's diving for it. And we're all digging. It was so creepy. I mean, anybody who's done it and knows that feeling where you're searching for it, it's an awful drug.
I have to say, out of all the things Brian and I have done, neither one of us have done coke in our whole life. And so that it's weird because we've done a lot of other stuff.
You didn't do crystal meth?
No.
And you're from Oregon. You got out
from Oregon. Yeah. But again, like I didn't even know that was a thing.
You were innocent. I always thought you were super preppy and sweet.
I don't view myself as preppy. Maybe in junior
I was doing
high.
hard drugs, honey.
Yeah, maybe comparatively speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
For
we
Portland,
were
innocent.
Probably.
For Portland, maybe. Yeah, because my big thing was pot, mushrooms, and then some acid a handful of times at Grateful Dead concerts, and then drinking.
Right.
But
you were normal, though. My guess is, and I don't know your mom, but I'm guessing you have a good relationship with your family. And you were raised in a relatively healthy situation.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Go to her episode.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to my episode. Okay. I share my story. But no,
but you're friends with your mom.
I am. But a lot of healing has gone on there.
Okay.
And a lot of.
But it wasn't abusive.
It was emotionally and mentally abusive, but I'm not my mom.
Okay. Right.
So,
and that's the biggest relationship I think we have. If you look at the people and how they respond to life, when the mom, if you meet a man who's got a mom who he does not have a good relationship with, that's the worst.
It's a challenge for sure.
Most people have daddy issues, but I think the mom is
mother
the core wound. Like, yes, that's the deepest.
It is. You're right.
And I've got the daddy and the mommy,
just all that type of shit. But no, crystal meth was not on my bingo card. That's a new level. That's a new level. And I just find it interesting to do it at such a young age. Yeah. That had to have thrown off your perspective chemically to some degree, I would think, right?
Yeah.
So, do you
think? My heart.
Okay, so did you have physical damage from it?
Yeah. I had heart surgery 5 years ago.
And they attribute it to that?
Well, some of it's congenital. I had been born with 2 aortic valves, but they were calcified. And how fast your heart beats when, you're on that stuff. I think I was gentler with it at the end of junior high, a little more attentive in high school. So if I would think about how frequent and the amount of money that we had access to, it picked up in high school for sure.
Okay, so for your high school years,
and it keeps me focused. So here's the thing, and let me just interrupt for a sec, is that Adderall is meth.
Yes,
it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yes,
and I have ADHD, and most people who have been raised in a family where there has been abuse, they have ADHD, and they give you Adderall for that. So I was just self-medicating.
Is it actually chemically the same? It's just cleaner because it's coming from the real lab instead of the bathtub?
I should look that up to get details, but I did it. I did Adderall, and it's the same thing.
It felt the same as when you did crystal meth.
I mean, it's gentler, and I didn't snort it.
It's cleaner. Yeah.
I don't know if I call it cleaner.
I find it interesting what you just said. A lot of children from abusive situations have ADHD. Is there a true correlation?
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm trying to think of his name, Gaber Mate.
Okay.
He talks about ADHD being anyone who's had abuse, or he even just talked about moms who are stressed in the womb. Yeah, I think it's all connected to childhood. Every little thing that we have as adults.
100%. So through elementary school and junior high, and you're having all this upheaval, did you do any sports, any extracurriculars, or were you just surviving?
I got offered to be on the track team.
Okay.
But that would have interfered with my smoking and my partying. So I chose not to do it. But I was glad to be offered that.
Yeah, for sure. Was it long distance or sprint?
I don't remember what he offered me. I just remember the coach asking me if I wanted to try out for it. Okay. And I did, and I got offered it, but I just decided not to do it.
And this was junior high?
I think that was high school.
Okay. So in high school, that was my next question. Did you do any sports or extracurriculars, or was it partying?
Yeah, my extracurricular was partying.
So, and you were one of those kids that were in the smoking section?
Yeah.
And just for our younger listeners, all of us in our high schools had smoking sections.
Did you guys have an active one when you guys were there?
Oh yeah, I remember. I just walked past it.
but like on school grounds?
I just kind of looked over.
They had a little area for us, like
Okay.
the puppies.
Yeah.
You put them in the area.
For sure.
No shit.
For
Ours had
sure.
been
Outside. It was
disbanded.
Outside.
Next to the school, around the corner, so everybody didn't see it. But yes, you could walk out, and feels like it was by the cafeteria.
Something. Yeah, because I remember walking past it and I wasn't judging at all, but it was more like intimidating. I never would have gone in there and talked to you guys because I was totally intimidated. And I did smoke cigarettes in high school, but it was social and it was like, it wasn't like where I need to have a cigarette in between fourth and fifth period.
Yeah, we just sat and puffed away. Well, it was where our friends went too,
Correct.
right?
Right.
And then,
yeah,
that just felt like the social norm for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So your extracurricular was partying. How about school academically? How did you do?
I remember because I had been the drug use graduated as I went along. And I remember my accounting teacher saying, Whitney, unless you're hit by a truck, you better be in this seat tomorrow. So I started missing a lot of school and it did impact my grades, but I got a C in English. I say that whenever I meet people because there's so many people here who are from Latin America.
Yes.
And I mean, English is hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I got a C. But I mean, I didn't go to class very frequently. So, and then I remember French class pulling up in the rental car. So I'm in, I got reasonable grades. Let me just say that. And part of it with using those drugs helped me focus and get homework done. So I will give credit to,
yeah, because were you diagnosed?
No, not until 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay. Wouldn't you say that's pretty true for many Gen X women, that they were overlooked, the ones who had ADHD, that the boys got more of the attention with that? And because girls are so good at masking and grinding through, that so many girls, when we were girls, didn't get diagnosed when they should have. I don't know if you found that with anyone you know.
I guess I would say, your parents had to be present for you to have somebody who is watching over you and looking for things like that. Like you didn't even know about crystal meth. That wasn't even in your field because your mother was normal and she wasn't doing those things. So my mom was not looking for things to fix.
Right.
We were looking for things to suppress.
Right.
It was a little different.
So ADHD wasn't even on the radar.
No one asked questions. It was just about going to school. And then, when it came time to graduate, I dropped classes so I wouldn't graduate.
So you did that on purpose?
Yeah. So my stepdad was a heart surgeon. He helped invent the defibrillator. So my mother married soon after we moved in with her. So we moved in with my mom.
Yeah.
She's on food stamps. So we're on food stamps. My mom doesn't have a job. She's a manicurist. So she's struggling to get by. So we did this thing on the bed, which is funny because now I do all this manifesting meditation. We're all holding hands on her water bed.
Waterbed.
Yeah, the water bed.
Let's just take a moment. I had a waterbed. You had a waterbed. Waterbeds were very common for Gen Xers.
They were fun. Yeah.
They were fun.
Yeah. And she had these big, anyways. So
That's awesome.
we held hands and imagined the man who was going to come in and save us.
Wow. That's like early manifestation.
My mom was powerful. She was a powerful witch.
She was on it.
In junior high, she had me take photos and build altars for boys. And I had one of the boys talk to me. Stephen, well, I probably shouldn't say his name, right? Yeah, I got to be careful. Anyways, but he talked to me. So anyways, we did this manifesting thing on the bed and held hands and imagined our new dad. And she met my stepdad at a party like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Married him very quickly.
Yeah.
Jewish guy, really good man.
Yeah.
Decent human being. And all of a sudden we had money.
Did you move in with him?
No, my mom just got to keep her house. I'm sure it was a struggle. I don't know what was really going on there with the house, but she rented out most of the home.
But did you, with the new stepdad, did he move into that house?
He was in LA. His base was in Marina Del Rey. So we ended up moving there part-time and then moving back. I don't know that they ever really long time lived together. I don't remember that presence of him in our life for a long time until we moved to Marina Del Rey. And then he died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you're in high school, she's married to this guy.
Yep.
But he's in Marina Del Rey.
She's traveling all the time. All they did was travel together.
Hence why you could probably have parties a lot because she wasn't around, right?
Yeah. And then let me tell you what my sister and I figured out. So she locked her bedroom door. So while she's gone, my sister and I got that doorknob off and we took it to the locksmith and we had them make a copy of it. So now we got a key to her door. So the next time she leaves town, so she wasn't completely out of town. I think they left for a couple days. We had to put it back on.
Yeah.
And then she went out of town for like a week. Well, we broke in and I remember that was the first time we smoked all her pot. And, you know, we got in big trouble. And then we watched her videos. Remember those 70s videos?
Like porn?
Chicka-ball,
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, we had our friends over and we went in there and watched her porn. That's how I learned how to give a blowjob. So, yeah, that was definitely fun.
So you had access because she was traveling. She was with her new husband.
Yes.
So you guys, so you get to the end of high school.
So it's called the Sunset House, by the way. We were tagged the Sunset
I went to
House.
parties there.
Yeah, it was in the backyard.
Yeah.
I remember Brady, I won't say his last name, jumping off the back of the, because, you know, everything was on a half acre there. We had all this property and he jumped because the cops came and he had the keg and jumped off the back, was running with the keg. I mean, we were so crazy.
I feel like because now that I can see it, I can see walking, parking, walking around to the back, right?
Yep.
Kegs are there.
Yep.
I remember this. What a trip. This is a trip. It's bringing it all back.
And you called your house, it was the Sunset House.
Yeah. Well, they tagged it that.
Yeah.
We had so many parties. I mean, when you get away with that many. And we had the Bevos over, the Beaverton guys.
Yes.
We'd always stack the deck.
Yes.
It was always a party.
Did you ever have Jesuit guys over?
I went to the Jesuit prom.
Okay. So you were
cocaine there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
the guy's last name was my first name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I mean, it's the 80s. Coke is, I mean, it's very normal. Coke was present.
Were you doing coke?
No, I never have done. I don't know how the guy I was dating. Do you remember Chico?
Of course.
Okay. So that was my high school sweetheart.
Oh,
So
I still follow him on Facebook.
Yeah, same. So we dated.
I loved him. He's a great guy.
Very great guy. We dated from spring sophomore year of me, because he was a year older, through my beginning of my freshman year of college. So we were like together a long time.
Wow, you just got in on the
tail end.
Lucky guy.
Yeah.
And then
Chico's cool. Chico's good people. Him and
very
his
good.
brother. He had a brother.
Chris.
Yeah, he was my age,
old.
right? Oh, it was
no. We're the same age.
Okay, but was Chico's older?
Chico's older.
And what's Chris? Oh,
he's older.
Okay, yeah.
Chico was the baby.
Okay.
There was 4 of them.
Wow.
All boys.
Yep.
They lived in, what was that neighborhood? Oak Ridge?
I know.
Oak Ridge, something.
But I remember him being very popular, and that's why I tied you to that vibe. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
in a different way than I was popular.
Right.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
So,
The cheerleader way.
But I wasn't a cheerleader.
I know. But she was a cheerleader, but more normal people. She was normal.
I was a
normie.
I was a normie, but I don't think that group, at least he didn't do coke, and I don't feel, because remember Buddha, all those guys, Scott, all those guys, I don't think if they did it, he didn't. So I didn't. Maybe they did it, but it wasn't around. So it was more.
That wasn't their vibe.
That wasn't their vibe.
Yeah, they were more athletes, right? No?
Yeah, I mean, he ran. Yeah, maybe they were.
They had this big truck.
Peter, maybe they played soccer.
It's thrown down. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Peter. Yeah. Well, actually, I've been talking to him on Facebook too.
Have you?
He's in Germany or somewhere, and he's very into personal development.
Yes.
He's got a great family. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah. No, everyone, like Vinod, remember Vinod?
Yeah.
Like all those guys, they're so nice.
See, those were like the athlete
Jason
nerds were actually normal. No, Jason was a partier.
Oh yeah.
But
they all partied, like that whole group partied, but I don't
they were
remember
more normal,
Coke. It was probably more weed and booze.
It was more weed and booze.
Keg
I mean,
parties
psychedelics sometimes, but I'm not saying it wasn't there. I just didn't see it.
But it's an interesting distinction as we're talking about it, as I'm thinking about what is that line between the people who end up doing stuff like I did, and then going down that pathway versus the ones that don't. Is it daddy issues? Is there a commonality? I have no idea, but it's interesting to think about how, I mean, Jason was always so cool. I still follow Jason online too. So it's really fascinating to think
I don't know.
about
I don't know if it is related to how broken your home is.
Right.
Is how much dysfunction is there. I mean, I know for Chico, his family was very Leave It to Beaver, parents married, perfect family, but mine wasn't. I was a mess. So, and I think with a lot of those
financial, do you think had any? Because I always thought Chico had like they were abundant.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
middle class. Were we all middle class?
We were all like upper.
Well, I mean, my mom was on
Yeah, but the area was very upper middle class.
Yeah,
like no one would have known that unless you told people that or your friends told people, but no one would have assumed no one would have even thought food stamps. Like that wasn't our world.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And it was only for a few months.
Right.
Because my mom got married.
Right. Then she married a rich guy.
Because we visualized a man to come into our lives and then changed my life.
He did. But okay, so towards the end of high school, you said you dropped classes on purpose. What was the motivation behind that?
Well, my stepfather passed away.
Okay.
And whatever reason, I don't know the laws, but I was entitled to his Social Security. And the cutoff was when you turn 18 or you graduate high school. So I dropped classes because I was going to graduate high school before I turned 18.
Okay. So you kind of bought some extra time.
Financial decision.
Yeah, it was a financial decision.
And it was $985 a month. And I remember one of my friends, Jolie, I'll just say her first name. She was crying and because she had the same situation but didn't want that.
Right.
And she was upset. And I remember her saying, but you wanted to do it. And I was like, I'm not going to graduation either. Why do you care? Like, I didn't care. But there was a financial benefit. And I got $250 a month from my mom for the child support that my dad gave her.
Okay.
So I was making $1,100 a month in high school, living off my sister's couch.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. So you did you even go to school spring semester?
Of course. I did. I did elective classes.
Okay. Yeah. So school ends. Mm-hmm. We all graduate. You don't go to graduation. You don't graduate. What do you do? Do you get a job? Where did you live?
So I did I've always had a job. I was always good at getting jobs. I got a job when I was 15 years old. I got my worker's permit. But I worked at Winchell's Donuts down from Sunset High School. And I'll never forget working there. And all my friends would come in and I'd give them free whatever. And they were going to Savi's Island. Yep. And I was working. Yeah. I have been working since I was 15 years old. And I remember my mom coming down to see me while I'm mopping the floor. And she peed her pants. She was laughing so hard that I was mopping floors for somebody else.
Oh my gosh.
But I was just so tired of her controlling my money situation. So yeah, I worked. And then I'll never forget this other guy that I met at Burger King while I was working at the drive-thru. I had so many jobs. I got fired from almost every job I had when I was young.
Why?
My mouth, usually. Okay. Probably. My mom used to say, your personality is your birth control.
Okay.
Tell me what to do. Try it on.
Right.
See what happens.
Okay.
So Burger King, I think the cutest guy, I can't remember what high school he went to, but he knew a lot of Sunset people. And his name was Brad. And Brad had a lot of friends. Brad was selling marijuana. And I had in my own apartment. And I think I was getting that child support, but I had my own apartment and I was the only person who had their own place.
Of course, yeah.
And all these kids came over and stayed the night at my place and I had to leave because I had to go to work. So they're all passed out. I leave and come back and the heat is turned up so high. It is boiling hot in my apartment. I'm like, oh my God, I just paid for the whole day. So
yeah. So how long were you living in that apartment and kind of had that where you were working and living in that apartment?
About a year.
And then where did you go?
So I went to community college, did that. I was at Mesa for a while. And then I feel like I moved to Palm Desert. My mom moved to Palm Desert. Oh, that's right. Okay. So no. So while I was in college in Mesa.
This is Arizona, right?
No, this is Mesa, La Mesa.
Where's that?
La Mesa's in San Diego. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me put the story together. I think my timeline gets...
Okay, so after graduation, you're living in an apartment.
Living in an apartment. I met a guy.
You met a guy,
and I moved to. Do you remember Sarah?
Yes.
Yes, I met a guy that she knew. There were twin brothers, and I met one of her friends at Pizza Hut. I was working at Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
and I ended up dating him and moving to Crawfordsville, Illinois, Edwardsville, and Crawfordsville. So I lived in Edwardsville and Crawfordsville. Crawfordsville was first.
Okay,
he was going to college out there. And I lived with him. And then we moved to Southern Illinois University. And then I was done. I knew that relationship was over and ended up moving to Palm Desert. Then I moved back to the West Coast. So I did have I forgot about that.
You went to Illinois.
Yes.
And Palm Desert, where is that?
That is in Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. So what made you go there?
So I remember when I was ready to leave that relationship and he promised me that he'd drive me across the country, but he wouldn't. So I drove myself, all by myself. I drove from Illinois. It was SIUE area. And I sold real estate there, by the way, and worked at a Pizza Hut and a bowling alley. I mean, I was a hustler. I always worked.
Yeah.
I was a working girl.
Yeah.
I learned good values with that for some reason because my mom didn't have those values.
Yeah.
Judy, my stepmother.
Okay.
So that's where, like, there's things that come if you can find them. I feel like that's where she gave me the good work ethic. So I moved from Illinois. I drove from Illinois.
Yeah.
Back to Palm Springs, and my mom goes, "Oh yeah, I need a car." She goes, "Oh good, you have a car. Come here." And I wanted to go back to Oregon because she had the whole house rented out, but her little suite. And I was like, "Well, why can't I go to Oregon?" And she goes, "Well, I need a car. Come here." So I went, and I'm not sure if when I turn my face like this, by the way, if that's going to be a problem.
No.
Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
So I drove back to Palm Springs, and she lived in this little court where I immediately got in trouble for driving too fast because I was young. I got jobs right away there. All the girls did crystal meth at the cocktail waitress thing. That's how they stayed skinny.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I fit right in.
Were you a cocktail waitress?
I was a cocktail waitress at Cecil's, Zelda's. Those were the popular. I mean, I met Scott Baio, all the popular young whatever.
Was it like a bar or like a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay,
They were bars,
okay.
nightclubs, where they did this weird thing that they'd have you hustle the clients. Like, okay, you bring this round of shots and you drop them off, and then you look at the person who looks like he's got money, and you're like, I don't know who ordered these, but it's $42 or whatever it was. It was back then. It was probably 20.
Awesome. Right.
And so you'd hustle the customers, and I did not like that. It was not clean energy for me. That even back then was a little much for me.
Yeah.
But it was the most popular nightclub, and all the cool people went there, and famous people. So I worked there for a while, and then I realized I think that was mafia.
Okay.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was mafia out there.
Oh, I think there's mafia everywhere. If you look
there's a lot here.
Yeah, there is.
So
how long were you there? In Palm Desert?
Yeah, we were there for a year. So we stayed there for a year.
And you lived with your mom?
Well, I lived with her for a little while, and our drinking escalated, and so did our physical fights. So there was a moment where we physically got into a fight. Or maybe that was actually San Diego. So we moved back to San Diego together. So it got so hot in Palm Springs. I just remember it got so hot, we decided to move together. So we left Palm Springs and we decided to go over the mountain to San Diego. It's like a 2-hour drive. So we moved to San Diego to a trailer park. She had a motorhome, and we lived in that motorhome together. She just
had a motorhome in San Diego, just randomly?
No, she bought it when she went to, she left Oregon because it was so rainy. While I was in Illinois, she left Oregon. She went to Palm Springs, and she bought a motorhome.
Oh, so when you drove there, you drove the motorhome to San Diego?
Well, yes, with a friend. I remember a girlfriend helped us with that. That was intense because we went over the mountain.
I bet.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I bet, because was it one of those motorhomes where it's all one, or was it a trailer?
It felt like a bus. No, it was a big giant motorhome.
Wow.
That was nice. Well, my stepdad left her some money.
Right. Okay, so you guys live in that in San Diego.
So we lived in that in San Diego.
In a motorhome. That's
the
close quarters.
Brewing Company off of Garnett, almost Garnett. It was the one before that. It was the exit before Garnett. I'll never forget that trailer court.
Well, and that's close quarters, especially considering if you guys are drinking.
That's when we would fight. We would get along so well. And then I would move in with her and let go of my apartment because we were together all the time. She was my best friend.
Yeah.
And then we'd kill each other because of the drinking.
Or were you guys still doing drugs too together?
I stopped doing drugs when I turned 21.
Okay.
So yes, the answer is yes. When I moved to San Diego, I think I was still doing them. Yeah. Yeah, because I was doing them when I went to La Mesa College, which is where we were getting confused because La Mesa is actually in San Diego. So is that great professors?
Is that your first stint at community college? Was there?
No, I went to what was it called in Portland? Rock Creek.
Rock Creek Community College.
I feel like there's a Rock Creek Community College.
Yeah, I think there is.
I did a little time there.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem for me with college is that I took a lot of classes that I wanted to take, like African arts and some really cool classes. And then I went and met with the counselor, and she's like, none of these count towards your degree. And I was like, well, why would I even go then? Like, what's the point of college? Yeah. And I got a job in San Diego, a really good one, where I was selling Apple computer memory.
That is a good job.
Yeah.
So how long were you there doing that?
Was I there 2 years? I was there until my mom passed away.
Okay, so you guys were living in the motorhome together, but you said you at one point had a really bad physical fight.
Right. And so I moved into a garage of a home on Thomas Avenue, which I'll never forget, across from the Planned Parenthood, where it was a huge house. A bunch of guys lived in the main house. Some rock star lived upstairs, and I was in the garage for $350 a month. It was a converted garage. Okay. Some guy had hung himself in the garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a great place. But I was that desperate to get out of that situation.
So you knew going in somebody had hung themselves.
No, I think I learned it when I lived there. Some neighbor had told me about it, but I didn't care. I wasn't spiritual then at all. I was heavily inebriated most of the time.
So you're still drinking, doing all that, working this great job. And your mom, you're still in touch with your mom.
Well, I was working at Nordstrom's. I worked at Nordstrom's for years. And then I got that job at Apricorn. It still exists. The company is a great company.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said your mom passed away, like what, 2 years after you guys got to San Diego?
I was 28. No, so that's like, because I think we got to San Diego when I was probably 23. So 5 years,
Okay, so you lived in San Diego for 5 years?
Before she passed away.
I
was there for 28, almost 30 years.
Okay, so that's where
San
you
Diego's
were.
home base for a long time.
That's home base. Okay, so you guys get there. You were drinking when you got there, but you stopped at 21. Why did you?
I stopped snorting cocaine and crystal meth at 21.
At 21.
Yeah.
Okay, so you stopped drugs at 21.
We were at the open bar. My mom got bit. Or she bit somebody. My mom bit someone when she was drunk. They threw her out.
You were at an open bar.
It's called the Open Bar.
Oh,
it's actually an open bar.
Called the Open
outside.
Bar.
It was really fun.
Okay.
It's a great bar. You would have loved it.
And then she got in an altercation and bit somebody and got thrown out.
Yes.
And was it after that you decided?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many incidents like that, Nicole. There were so many times where I just remember being with my mom, but she wasn't there. There's no one home. And that's a trigger for me now when I'm out with people who drink. I can take it to a certain point, but then when they're checked out, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, intimacy needs to be done where we're both in our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah. Now.
So at 21, was that incident the catalyst that made you
it was
stop?
part of it. There were so many things. I just looked at my life and I was like, at 21, you're supposed to have responsibility. I think I really saw myself being able to accomplish much more than I was doing and the possibilities. I mean, there was just so many things I wanted to do and I could see myself, doing, but I didn't have the direction. And doing that, every time I did that, there was one time I did it, I was up for 4 days in a row. And just what was about to happen during that time, I felt ashamed of the experience. So I remember thinking to myself, I'm too old for this. 21 years old. There's people who are having careers at 21 and people who are training to become doctors and all kinds of things. And I just stopped. I said, no more Coke, no more crystal. I'm going to let myself still drink. I'm going to let myself still smoke cigarettes.
Okay. And then at some point you stopped drinking too, right?
25 years ago.
So
I was 28.
When you were 28. And was that related to your mom's death?
In 2000. Yeah. My mom had passed away. I got sober on New Year's, 1999. I was wearing the 2000 glasses. But yeah, she passed away. I helped her pass away. She died in my apartment in Mission Beach. I lived on Mission Beach off of Kingston in this cute little tiny apartment. And I was taking care of her. And August 20th at 4:20 a.m. It's funny how you remember stuff like that.
In 1999 or 2000?
It was probably 1989, but I don't remember. But I just
1999.
It was like 6 months after she passed away. I decided to get sober, so that was 1999.
Okay, so she passed away in like August 1999, and then about 6 months later.
Yeah.
Okay, and so her passing, was that from drug use and alcohol use, or was it something else?
I mean, so my mom, when we would talk on the phone, I could put the phone down and she'd still be yelling about somebody who did her wrong, somebody who cheated her, something that went sideways. She just had so much anger. Most of our parents didn't have resources or know how to navigate their own emotional bankruptcy.
Yeah.
No one taught them okay, honey, where's that in your body?
Right.
Where are you feeling that? Let's
Right.
breathe through it. And therapy, but no coaches. We didn't really have coaches back then. So she just didn't have a lot of resources. I just, like you said, we didn't talk about anything.
Well, we didn't either. Like they didn't, the boomers didn't, which is your mom, my mom, but we didn't either. You know, it's really our generation, I think, that's really taken off with that and changed things. So
well, a certain percentage. It's just a certain percentage. That's what a lot of people don't realize is that it's a very small percentage of people who are awake to emotional intelligence or words that express things like that.
I think the younger generations are way ahead of anywhere we ever were because Gen X, our emotional intelligence, our emotional development, that's why I say I think for a lot of us it's starting later in life, you know, because we just have shoved everything down, grind it through, do what we're supposed to do, smile through it, and then we hit a point, like I was talking to you before we started recording, where we have a moment to breathe and look around and are like, okay, now I'm going to actually acknowledge what's going on inside of me. So I feel a lot of us came to that point probably around 50, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later. But I think with the younger generations are way more in touch with, not everybody, but I just think it's more prevalent to be more in touch with what's going on with you, with the younger generations, because they've made that space for themselves. And so many of us now are the coaches, like what you do. So, but okay. So to go back though, so your mom passed away. You said you helped her pass away.
Yeah.
Do you want to share
that
experience?
We had hospice come to the house.
Okay.
I tried to get my sister to take my mom. She had a house. I was living in a studio beachfront apartment party pad, like crazy parties.
Yeah.
Right on the beach in Mission Beach. And I moved her in and just took care of her. You know, they told her she would have 8 months to live. She lived exactly 8 months. She died of the same thing my father died of too, which is bizarre.
Which is
pancreatic cancer. She had tumors on her bile duct, and she flew to Oregon. I think what happens when we get older, and I don't know this is for everybody, but when they start to lose control, they want control back. So she flew to Oregon. She did all this weird stuff. I had to go get her and bring her back. And it was very, very hard. That was one of the toughest times of my life.
So during this time, is your sister living in Oregon still?
No, she moved to San Diego. She came to visit us. That's what happens when people go to San Diego and they visit you. They move there, especially if they're from Oregon.
San Diego is beautiful. It's my favorite part of California. So she's there with a home, but you moved your mom into the studio.
They never quite sorted out their relationship from her abandoning us, I don't think. Okay.
So you were there when your mom passed away and you made the decision. When did you consciously make the decision to give up alcohol?
Well, my mom died.
Right.
And I felt like I had two directions to go. I'd met my life partner, who I guess it's not part of my life, before midlife. What do you call it when I was 28.
Quarter life.
And we were together till I was like 48, 18 years we were together. So 28 to 46. And he said to me that, I was taking care of my mom and she was dying, and he met her once. And I wanted a monogamous relationship. And he said, well, I want a healthy girlfriend. I've already done this. I don't want to do it again. His last girlfriend was super cute. I met her. She's crazy and a drunk, So apparently that was something he'd already experienced. And I really wanted monogamy. This guy was I was really surprised that I actually liked this guy. Let me back up 1 second, because this is part of something I wrote in my book. I call it the 30-day tantric, like the pause. So what I started doing, I was dating and drinking. And one of the boys that I slept with came over the next night to that party place and tried to sleep with my roommate or my neighbor. She was not my roommate, but it was like she was my roommate, because these little apartments were really close together. And I was like, what am I doing? So I decided to put in these kind of things, like quitting crystal and coke would pop up. And I was like, okay, I'm putting in a 30-day pause. I am not sleeping with anybody. 2 dates before I kiss, and no sex for 30 dates. And I did that. And I had a couple guys that I put through. And back then HIV was popular. So they had to get the full panel. And if they made it through the 30 days, then we'd have intimacy.
30 days or 30 dates?
30 days.
30 days.
30 days. Because, yeah, they've been very specific. Every guy that's ever talked to me about this is it 30 dates or 30 days? But the thing is it's got to be enough time to feel like I've gotten to know them. So the guys I've noticed are happy to do it. It's really interesting. I've been very surprised. Back then, like I had a lineup. You know, of course, I was super cute, 28 years old. And people are lined up out the door. Oh, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And so my partner of 18 years, who's also my business partner, and anybody who watches this that knows us knows him. And we're still friends. But back then, I put in the 30 days and he signed up for it. So we made it through the 30 days and we ended up together for, you know, a really long time. But that was a turning point in my life. Of setting that up so that I actually would get to know someone. And then the next turning point was where he said to me, well, I want a healthy girlfriend. If you want monogamy, we'll have a handshake on it, but you better get your shit together. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that. So we broke up for a little while and then got back together and I said yes.
And so then you had your last drink New Year's Eve, 1999. And that's the last time you had alcohol.
And that was after my mom passed away. That was what helped make that decision for me. And I remember thinking, my sister and I went to the bar when they took her out of my apartment at 5, 6 a.m. You know, they came in the coroner's office, took her body from my place. And we went drinking. And I just thought, again, it was that same feeling that I got when I was doing crystal meth and coke at the bar. I was like, there's got to be more to life than this. This cannot be all there is. And that's really what I felt like drinking. I was like, okay, I've got a decision to make. And I decided to get sober.
So
alcohol.
Did you get sober from alcohol cold turkey? Or did you use any of the tools that are out there to help people like AA or stuff like that?
I went to AA. I did 90 days in 90 days, 90 meetings in 90 days.
Wow.
The guy that I was with for 18 years, roommate's girlfriend was sober. So she got me into AA and then she outed me to my sponsor later. But she got me into AA and she took me to meetings and showed me that I could drink non-alcoholic beer. It was very sweet. I was very grateful. It's amazing how sober people will go to all lengths to help people that are addicted get sober. It's a beautiful thing.
How would you say giving up alcohol in your life changed your life?
So I'm going to go big picture and then I'll bring it down. But I think that alcohol is a spirit now. And when you invite a spirit into your body and you're allergic to it and you don't know it, or there's not harmony with that drug, alcohol can be relaxing for some people. Some people are normal and it doesn't trigger them to get addicted. For me, that's not how it worked. So, you know, it immediately, I'm trying to remember. I think my first drink was I was 8. I drank a beer and beer is awful. And what was the question?
It was, how do you feel giving up alcohol out of your life affected your life?
Oh, I mean, my one true sentence is if my mother hadn't died, I wouldn't have gotten to live.
So do you feel that you have lived a much more authentic and fulfilling life since giving up alcohol? And if you would have kept drinking, that would not have happened?
Anyone who drinks and knows that they are an addict is miserable. I remember when my girlfriends looked at me and they're like, you're not even having fun anymore. Why are you still drinking?
So what is that experience like when you are an addict and you are drinking and everyone else around you is just having a good old time and it's happy hour and they're just letting loose? Painful. But what is it that as the addict is feeling?
Yeah, for me, it was that I could no longer get that same experience, that high or that fun party part. It was changing. It was no longer fun. I wasn't having fun anymore, but I still did it and I couldn't stop. That was the shit part. And I mean, I got a DUI back then too. So that helped wake me up. And I'll never forget asking my mom, are we alcoholic? They're telling me I'm alcoholic in this thing. And she's like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that. No, we're not alcoholic.
Right.
So I feel like for people who are curious, sober curious, you know, for me, what I decided was I said, I can do it for a year. I'm going to take a year off. If my life does not completely transform and I do not become the happiest person I've ever met, I'm going back to it. So why not? Why not give it a shot? Give your life a chance for a year. my life completely changed. I mean, within almost 2.5 years, I think I found the company that I helped build for 23 years. And the 12th step, to me, I did the 12th step over and over and over again. I obsessively did the 12 steps. I have so many journals that I burnt and that I tossed out. I mean, I did it so many times. I think the personal development side of the 12 steps is powerful. And it helps you grow, right? You can't help but grow. There are some people who get sober from alcohol and don't do their work, and those are called dry alcoholics.
Interesting.
I met some of those.
So they just gave it up, but they didn't take the next step for the personal development aspect of it.
Right. So there's a little edge there to some of those people's personalities.
Okay. Interesting. So you said after doing that, after giving up alcohol and your life changed and you ended up finding the company that you helped build. What was that company?
So I'm not going to say the name of the company.
Okay.
I'm even not allowed to promote it. It's really interesting. When you're part of an MLM, they have all kinds of laws and regulations.
Okay.
The company I helped build was a coaching company. I developed the coaching division of it. But what I wanted to share was the 12th step is being in service.
Okay.
So in AA, I sponsored one young woman. It was horrific. She stole my tapes. I gave her my Toltec Way tapes. Her story was so heartbreaking. I mean, I have a lot of compassion and empathy, and my nervous system is not designed to help people who are here. And when I started coaching people with weight loss and helping them with their physical, mental, and financial well-being, I felt like I was taking them from here to here. That was working. So I really only sponsor one person in AA, and we use the big book. And in the company I help build, we have a big book too, but it's all about the habits of health.
Okay.
So we all go through it together. So when I got healthy and started teaching other people, so I start sponsoring other people, it's the same thing. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And I was doing it for physical, mental, and financial well-being and getting paid. Because guess how much the sponsors in AA get paid?
Nothing, I would assume. It's volunteer, right?
It's actually a lot of drama.
What is what do you think the difference is between the person that's here versus the person that's up here? Is that just desire that they're ready?
Just desire. Yeah, I think there's part of that for sure.
Or motivation, I guess.
Yeah.
Same word.
Yeah, I think that part of it is that. I think the desire and motivation is definitely a piece, but I also think the willingness to meet yourself.
They're ready almost.
To see your own fears and like to shift the way you see your childhood rather than making everybody else wrong, saying they did the best that they could and they shit the bed.
Yeah.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Now I've got the responsibility to shift, and forgiveness is giving yourself the forgiveness. It's letting go of the shame and all of those emotions that we feel.
One thing that's come through, I think I don't think you view yourself as a victim. It almost sounds like you've had what you had, but you're now taking it and making it a good thing.
Thank you. That's really powerful and a really powerful observation. I've done more work than anybody else I know, and I'm not trying to boast about that, but that's what I did in my personal development work. And I honestly feel like a lot of us think that life is supposed to be easy, but we used to kill each other going down the pathway, right? Like we'd get robbed and people would kill each other left, right, and center back in the old days. We're not that far from that. And I think everyone forgets that and thinks that life is supposed to be easy. I've done a lot of deep spiritual work. We talked about that. I don't know if we'll talk about the medicine, but that part of when I started getting into spirit and connecting with God and what that energy felt like helped me see that death is easy. And the spiritual work that we do here and the vibration and the frequency that we hold while we're here, how we see things, the way we view the world, whether or not we forgive and decide that person, so the book that I wrote is one of the chapters is the man who showed me who my father was. And what I learned from my dad dying is, and this is recent, like this is all like in the last year, is that no one does anything. And I've been studying the 4 Agreements for decades. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is one of my favorite books. And the 4 Agreements are the second agreement, which is the number 1 agreement that I'm focused on, is don't take anything personal, because no one does anything to you. They're just assholes and you happen to be in their care. Or there are people like my mom who was abused as a young child and had no resources or skills. And she was just doing what her mom did. And for those people out there who have been very severely abused, I'm so sorry. I really am. But I really believe that the parents who parented them just repeated what happened to them. It's not like they took this kid and said, you are the one who's going to get this. It was like, you're the person in my face. I gave birth to you, or you're now in my charge and I'm a miserable person. So that's what you're going to get. Yeah. And now guess what you get to do? You get to make a choice.
Yeah.
Did this happen to me or did it happen for me? And one of the spiritual medicines that I used, I remember after it, my friend said to me, Whitney, because I didn't think I could get on the plane to go home. I was having so much anxiety. And she goes, Whitney, do you think the universe is happening for you or against you? And I believe that the universe is happening for me. And the lessons that I'm receiving, I get to choose in every moment. What does this mean? And they're not all easy. And not always in my resource to be this. Oh, one of my friends pointed that out to me. And I'm like, I know. Like, put me in a car, especially here. Oh, we are not the meditating guru that I have developed into. I get a little crazy.
When did you have that realization then?
Which one?
The world's not against you, that it is for you.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty powerful. That's a complete mind difference. I don't know if it's a shift per se, right? But it could be a shift for some folks, but it's just a different way of looking at things.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. I have done a lot of plant medicine, and the way I've aggressively chased life, I chased plant medicine. So I did experience with Ibogaine. Ibogaine is the only plant medicine known to help someone who's a heroin addict recover from heroin addiction. So after Burning Man, all stories start like that. I met a woman and she had a shaman, it was her step mommy type of vibe, who loved her and had a clinic down in Mexico where Ibogaine is legal. And she would help heroin addicts get off heroin. So we went down thinking, oh, this will be great. I wanted to do all of the medicines. Ibogaine is so deep and so intense. And what I felt like it did was it went in and took all that crystal meth and cocaine that I'd ever done, and it shook it out of the receptor sites. So it was all loose in my system, and it was moving through my system, but it was all there. I was so paranoid. It was the trippiest thing. So we're getting ready to get on the airplane. They told me to take a Xanax. They said, look, take a Xanax. And I was like, no, I don't want to take anything. Like, I was such a Puritan, and here I am, because I wasn't drinking alcohol, but I had certain things that I was okay doing. So I took that Xanax and everything. I felt like my nervous system cleared out all of that crystal meth, all of that cocaine, because I think it's all spirit and it lives in our bodies. Anything you do. Nicotine, I love cigarettes. God, if I could smoke and not die, so I'd be sick.
Yeah.
So when she said it to me, she said that question. She had the Xanax and she's like, I don't think I can get on the plane. And she's like, Whit, is the universe for you or against you? And I got a choice of the blue or white pill. I took the Xanax and I realized, oh my God, everything is for me. Every choice that I've made in my life has predicted me or taken me to the next choice. Whether good or bad, who's to judge? And the thing about doing plant medicine is it brings you from my perspective to God's perspective, which is, if you think about animals in the wild, they're just killing each other. There's no judgment, no shame, no guilt. It's survival. And that's what I'm saying is we're not that far from that.
Yeah.
So that decision or that shift happened then. I was like, oh my God, everything. Because it was so hard for me to end my 18-year relationship, but I ended it. It was something shifted. I was done. And walking away from something that you've invested that much with, it was really. So
the Ibogaine experience, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Ibogaine, that was recently. That was, right? It wasn't.
It was 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
7, 8.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it almost sounds like a cleanse.
Yeah.
A
deep spiritual cleanse. I do not recommend it to anybody who isn't really trying to recover from heroin addiction. I mean, that's the deepest medicine. That's called the grandfather.
Really?
Oh, it was deep. And it's from another planet, 100%. Like, my whole body lit up, and the sound of the universe to me it makes you instantly psychic too. Like, I asked the question because I could see everybody throwing up. Everyone who I went there with got food poisoning but me.
They were throwing up during the whole
they
session?
opened the door and I saw my girlfriend projectile vomit.
But it wasn't from the Ibogaine, right?
No, it's from where we went and ate They all got food poisoning. No. Everyone.
Were they all doing the Ibogaine?
Yes. And they projectile vomited it.
So their food poisoning hit them during this Ibogaine trip?
That's a bad trip.
What a bad trip.
For them.
No kidding. But then you ate the same stuff but didn't get food poisoning?
I don't think I ate the same stuff.
Okay, yeah, you must
But is the universe for me or against it?
Yeah, no kidding.
I got some big boy angels on my back.
Yeah.
I have some protection. I don't know if they're angels or aliens or whatever.
What is the Ibogaine? Is it cactus or is it a plant?
What I understand is it's in Africa. The only place you can find it is in
maybe a root.
Roots.
It's a root. Yeah. Okay.
And how long does the journey last?
I think we did 3 treatments, 3 different days, and it lasted all night.
Okay, so like 3 nights. You did.
So it lasted when did we start? I think she waited until it got dark, like 6 o'clock. And then I think it was 2 o'clock before.
And so do you feel that after those sessions,
that changed my life?
That changed the trajectory of your life?
Totally. Well, trajectory. So how do you define trajectory?
Like if you're at a crossroads and you can make a choice, you chose this choice instead of the path you were on. You chose a totally different path.
I think it deepened the path I was on. I don't think it changed it. I think doing Ibogaine, because I've done all kinds of medicine. Okay. I've been doing medicine since I was 40.
Okay.
I think it sounds almost more like it changed your psyche and how your mindset and what kind of you're describing. You've relieved yourself of a shit ton, a lifetime of baggage. You're now loosened up and it's out of you. The toxins are gone. And now you've got this new perspective is kind of how I'm picturing, more so than the trajectory, right? Because that's like a path and I'm going to go here and I'm going to be financially wonderful or not or whatever, right? This is my
perspective. You're saying perspective. Is that right?
Perspective changed. It seems like.
Yeah, perspective change is an accurate way to define it. Not only did I see that the universe was for me, but I mean, that is deep, deep God medicine. I mean, like I said, I think it's from another planet. I think that aliens planted it there so we could find it and have some healing. Because this planet, how many people would agree that this is a lot of work?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy to be human.
There's a lot of good things on this planet, but there's also a lot of suppression of those good things through pharmaceutical industry, right? And money and all that. There's a lot of things that don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah. And consciousness.
Into it.
But think about, okay, so yes, and if you think about our parents' parents, like that's one of the practices that I've gone through with the Hoffman Institute, which was, a traditional therapy process. When I was at Hoffman Institute, they had us go back to, first of all, you go to the funeral of your parents and you imagine people there and what would they say about them. But then they have you think of them as kids. I mean, we're so fortunate to be brought up when we were brought up that there's even an option to change the way I look at something, the perspective change. They didn't have that. If you watch old movies.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay, before we jump ahead, because now I have a question about the Hoffman Institute, but I just want to go back a little bit because we kind of skipped over it. Your heart surgery. How old were you?
50.
Okay, so we haven't gotten there yet. For some reason I was thinking that we skipped over that. Okay, so you are building this company with your partner at the time, the company that should not be named, kind of like Voldemort. How long were you involved with that company?
I'm still involved with the company.
Okay, so you're still currently connected with that company. And your role in the company, how would you define what your role was?
My role shifted quite a bit. I used to be very involved. I helped build the culture of the company. We were one of the first 50 coaches that developed the culture. And I was on stages and, working with the corporation. And when I ended my relationship with my partner, I mean, it's an MLM. So you have an upline. My partner's my upline. So I was tired of working. And, we got property in Tahoe. I left that part out, but we moved to Tahoe for 8 years.
So you guys met, lived in San Diego for a while, and then moved to Tahoe.
Yes.
And is that where you would say most of your life together was in Tahoe?
No, that was only six years.
Okay.
6 or 7 years. Most of the life was in San Diego.
Okay.
And traveling. I traveled all over the world with him. He was a big wave surfer. So I've been fortunate. And we had the freedom, because we did a virtual coaching business, to travel all over the world, all over the country first, which is why I know firsthand this percentage of the population think the way that we're communicating. we've just found that pocket of people.
Mm-hmm.
Most people all over I mean, there's farmers, great people. They just don't have an interest in this. And it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, one of my mentors says, just fluff their pillow, let them sleep. They don't need to be waking up. It's not our job to woke people. I love my life. I'm super happy to be sober, to be from alcohol, to be growing and learning, to be sitting down with really interesting people and having an opportunity to share my story is really important. And it feels really good. What a great, like, this is medicine. This is like another form of medicine.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So would you say, when you guys were coaches, to break it down for listeners, you guys were coaches, you talked about physical, mental, financial. How would you help people? Or how do you, if you still do it, how do you help people? Like what are the steps there?
So I'm going to do it for you guys. Can I do like a coaching exercise for you guys? And then everybody who's listening can follow along.
Yeah.
So if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes and take a deep breath. If you want to just keep them open, that's fine too. But imagine your 10 physical health. And we're going to go through your physical, your mental, and your financial. Can you imagine your best physical health? You're at your 10, you're at your goal weight, you feel great, you sleep through the night, you're physically active, you're at your goal weight, your diet's great. What else? You just feel like $1 million, no pains, you're not on medication. You feel like you could run through this place naked. Yay, wherever you are. You're 10. Can you feel it? When you can, open your eyes. And where are you at now compared to that vision? Do you want to share? You don't have to.
Number wise, where I'm physically and taking in medications into consideration compared to the ultimate, probably a 7.
Great. Congratulations.
I'd say 7. Yeah.
What does that mean though? So on a scale from 1? Okay.
That's how I interpreted it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say now, but I would say if you asked me a year ago or a year and a half ago, 4.
Wow.
I've made insane changes in it the last year and a half.
What were those?
Cutting out alcohol out of my life. Special occasions, I'll still maybe have like a glass of wine with my daughter if if it's something special like that. Pretty much I don't drink. Walking over 10,000 steps every day, getting up at 5 in the morning to walk, making sure I commit to that weight bearing exercise 5 days a week.
Good job. Are you lifting him? Because you pointed at him.
We do it together.
Oh, that's great.
We walk together. We lift weights together. Creatine, and supplement. Focusing on my supplements. Focusing obviously on my eating. I've been gluten-free for like 12 years, so that was a given. But then cutting out a lot of dairy. Like dairy is very rare.
Sucks that we have to let
it does.
Cheese is the best, but
I know.
I'm not on dairy either.
I know. So it's all those little
So you're
things.
at a 7.
Now I'm at a 7.
Do you know what you would need to do to get yourself closer to a 10? Do you know what the next steps are for you?
I think my next steps are in introducing meditation.
That's the mental health. We'll go there.
Okay,
but yes, that will impact your physical too.
Yeah. And I think introducing cleansing, some cleansing, some fasting.
I'm on a bone broth thing right now. I'll tell you about it.
So it's that. I think I need that.
Yeah. Just to play with your food. And know that you're in control is a powerful experience.
Yeah. Sleep. Sleep is my biggest weakness.
Okay.
I don't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I think if I got enough sleep, I would easily jump to an 8.
Do you know why you don't sleep at night?
I think I have too many things in my brain happening. I think I worry about my kids. It's hard to turn that off.
Yeah. I know a lot of moms
because
like that.
even though they're older, I still have different worries. And I have no control over it. And so I have to give it over to God. I've incorporated prayer big time in the last 3 years of my life and really practicing giving things over to God. That's been huge. So probably anxiety.
Turn it over, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would think that affects, and then also just time because, we have a 15-year-old and there's things like, finding out 9:30, he has a project due the next day. Well, I can't go to bed now, things like that. I don't have control over that, so sleep's a big one though for me. But,
okay. Well, I'd like to give you ideas on that, but I think we'll keep going. I want to take you through what the coaching is just so we complete that process. Yeah. And then I will, and we might do it off air, but I'll try to come back to the sleep thing that I've started doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But the meditation could be helpful. Okay, so let's go to mental health. You can close your eyes or not. Take a deep breath. Imagine you're 10, the happiest version of yourself, no drama. You have purpose and meaning in your life. You're so happy. All your relationships are healthy. You have time to do the things you love. Your spirituality is on point. You're 10. Imagine yourself just giggling and laughing all the time. That's what I do. But what is your 10? What does 10 look like to you in your life? And when you can feel it in your body, open your eyes. What's your number in this moment?
I mean, my number's pretty good for this. I would say I'm probably at an 8.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about where I'm at mentally. I would think the thing I need to change would be to have more fun. I think live music is my biggest outlet for that. It's where I feel more my authentic self, and it's a realignment for me every time I go see live music. I dance, so that helps the somatic healing and all that. So I think I need to incorporate that more for myself. We need to go
dancing. We'll go to speakeasy.
Yes, yes. I love dancing. So I think that would be huge. It's just we both work very hard professionally and also as parents.
Right.
And I think both of us are not balanced with fun.
Yep.
And then, of course, that becomes, you can get edgy with the other person because the stresses of life, we have an amazing marriage, an amazing friendship, an amazing relationship. And the only thing that's negative, I'm going to say this, in our relationship at this point in our lives is just the stress of the world and balancing that. It isn't what's going on between us intimately. It's when the world is coming in and we're both having to deal with it. And that's where you can get in little arguments, but it's not personal. It's just we're reacting.
Right.
So, because
good awareness.
You take us out of that and we're like best buds. There's no problem. So it's getting more fun, a balance of more fun while we're working our asses off, you know.
Do you guys do a date night?
We've tried. We're together so much, you know, so we
maybe
don't.
an activity together.
Yeah.
You're working out together.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, maybe you need activity separate. Maybe you need to get a girls' night going.
And I do. I'll go with my girl. That's always been an important thing. Like I tried to get away with spend time with women. Very particular on who I spend my time with. I've learned that. Consistency, that.
But you want to have more fun together is something I hear you saying too.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever go to workshops together or do any personal growth events together? Any marriage development together?
No.
You know, a lot of churches offer that. If you're getting into church, that's one thing to consider.
But he's not into church.
Okay.
He's not spiritual or religious. And it's an interesting relationship, right? Where I am, but he isn't. So that wouldn't be a common ground for us. But honestly, I think when we see live music together is when we completely, everything realigns again.
Cool.
That's been but I think I'm open to other things.
You could get creative together. I mean, he seems very open and interested in thinking outside the box, and he's here with you doing this. This is a creative outlet, by the way.
It is. It is
great.
100%.
But we're not dancing.
No.
And you want to be physical and do something else. So maybe you just have the intention once a quarter, you guys come up with something fun to go away and do together.
Yes.
Either it's camping or going to a live concert or going to a festival.
Yes. We actually are, the end of next month, we're going to Alabama to see Billy Strings for 3 nights.
So it sounds like you're already doing it.
We're trying,
And you're an 8. I mean.
Yeah. I feel pretty good.
You're doing well. Okay, so let's go to the financial well-being.
Okay. Now we'll get into
a lot of people have a lot of discomfort with the financial part where it's all, if you think about physical is the food and, you know, how you fuel your body. Mental is what you think about. You said you worry about your kids. My invitation would be start imagining what you want for them and make that a practice, even though it's super hard. And I know it is for all moms because I know so many moms that they can't help it.
Yeah.
But you can.
Yeah.
And now it's the time. We have this new awareness that you have control over what you focus on. So just start practicing that. What if everything went right for him? What if the kids came back and this great thing happened?
Yeah.
And because the shit storm is going to happen whether you think about it or not. So why think about it? Why not pretend like in your nervous system? Because the only person you're affecting is you when you put worry out. Okay. So let's go to finances.
I agree with all of everything you just said. Big time.
Good. And that's a practice, honey. So it's just like
it's a skill.
Getting off sugar. It's like
100%.
And you're addicted to the fear. A lot of us get addicted to those thoughts.
I am. I wish I could just know everything's going to be fine and then I can relax, but you can't.
But what if you do know in your body?
Right.
Because in reality, if the universe has my back, everything is going to go exactly as it's supposed to.
Right.
And when you do medicine work, deep medicine work, you realize that death is love and we're all connected. We're all going to be connected again. Whether you believe you're an atheist or whatever, why not believe the best thing you could believe? Why do people believe in the worst?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It's an interesting point.
It's
we
such a
fit
great
into
point.
These constructs for sure.
Yeah, we're
interesting.
not raised to believe in the best is going to happen, and we're raised to be fearful and think of the worst.
Because survival was real. It's not anymore. We're not really in survival. If people quit spending their money on shit, they would have a lot of it.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing is live under your means. So we're going to talk about finances next.
Okay.
So let's imagine, take a deep breath. And I want you to imagine your 10 for abundance, your financial well-being. You have great income. You manage the money that comes in so well. You have so much money. I like to imagine $25 million. And what does that feel like in your body? Is it freedom? You never look at the check ever again. You give money away because you're so abundant. All your bills are paid. You are in such incredible position to be abundant, the most abundant version of yourself. Can you feel that in your body? And when you got it, open your eyes. That's your 10. And give us a number from 1 to 10 of where you are now.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, we kind of have your life puzzle. And we can spend some time on your 5, but if you think about it, you gave yourself, number 1 was a 7, 8.
No, number 1 was 7. Oh no, I think I said 7. Yeah.
8 mental, and 5 financial. So generally what I'll tell people, but it sounds like you're really hustling, is that you would, well, no, I guess this would be the advice to you because you're super happy, you're super physically well. Then you take your foot off of that and put your foot on the abundance factor. What is it in your abundance or in your finances? Or in your finances, what is it that you know that you need to adjust that would make the biggest difference for you?
I don't know. I think that's my problem.
So let's break it down though. When you get to your 5, if you think about where do you want to go? Do you want to go to a 7? If you want to take your 5 to a 7 where your physical health is, you took your health from a 4 to a 7 by just quitting drinking and making some changes.
Yeah.
So if you look at what is it, and this is for everybody, like making a list of all the have tos, go through your credit card bills.
Yeah.
What are the things we have to do and what are the things we'd like to do?
Yes.
And what are the things do we need to take away from so that we can put money towards something else? And the one thing that I used to coach people on before they buy stuff, and I know you guys, I mean, you don't seem like you're buying random stuff, although there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff is material stuff. And I find that a lot of people, especially here, have a lot of material things and they're spiritually bankrupt. And they're so, like somebody said to me, oh yeah, getting bored. I'm like, I could never get bored.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. I'm never bored.
Yeah.
I'm never bored.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you find that it's different on the East? Because I know you've lived extensively on the West Coast and now you've recently, how long have you been over here on the East Coast, would you say?
Almost 2 years.
What are the differences you're seeing? Well, you just talked about materialistically.
Well, I think a lot of people, and just to close the loop on that, the physical, mental, and financial, that's what I go through with people. Now you have your physical, your mental, and your financial puzzle.
Yeah.
And if he wants to sit down and you do it with him and take him through it, then you guys can look at, okay, what are the things that we want to shift and adjust so we can take the next step to move forward? Now, as a coach, that's where I offer my services. I help people get clarity. I either charge them or put them on my program, depending on what the need is. And I move them closer to their goal. I help them make those adjustments. It's really having accountability. You guys have each other.
Yeah.
So if you can hold each other accountable, I find some couples and people just shop as a soothing factor. They're spending money to soothe. It's an addiction. It's just to squash down some of those feelings of fear or anxiety that they haven't figured out how to deal with on a different level.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so you're still actively coaching people and taking clients.
Yeah, I'm going to build a whole new program. I finished my book. I am going away, as I mentioned, and I'm going to clean it up, and then I'm going to come back and publish it, and I'm going to probably travel a bit and do some speaking and build a coaching practice.
So is this separate than the company you've been working with?
You know, it all goes together. So it just depends on what somebody needs. If they want to lose weight, I have a weight loss program that's second to none. I know weight loss backwards and forwards. The company that I help build can say now, we reverse metabolic syndrome. 90% of people have it. So I can help with your physical, with your mental, and with your financial. And just to go back to the mental for 30 seconds with you, the meditation is the thing that, for me, this new Dr. Joe Dispenza work that I've been doing, he doesn't use plant medicine. Like, I did a lot of work with that medicine, and it's a spirit, and it's done incredible work for a lot of people, and it's done some damage. But now with Dr. Joe's work, he's just doing it with your own breath and the work that it takes to start focusing on what you want. Even though in your body, like this morning when I woke up, I could feel in my body, I must have had a bad dream. So then what amount of work does it take to reset yourself back to, what do I want to create? What's possible? What can I dream? Like, when did we start dreaming about what's wrong versus what's right? Like, when you're a little kid, you get to imagine the best possibilities of, we could be magical fairies, we could be Wonder Woman, we could do anything we want. So that is the invitation, is the meditation. And when you can sit with yourself and your thoughts, just like you did with your kids, Nicole, I can see you're a great mom. You just reshift those thoughts. When you start hearing them go in a direction that's not healthy and not positive, start shifting them. Say, no, this is what I want to focus on. And when you do that enough times, you catch yourself. And then, like me in the car, and I'm like, that motherfucker. I'm like, oh, you're someone's kid. Bless you. I'm so sorry. And yes, I feel bad because I'm consciously incompetent now. So you're aware that you are unaware, or aware that you're going in a direction you don't want to go. So shift it. So that's just my mental health part for you. And I meditate for at least an hour a day. You got to split it up. I know you're super busy, and most people out there are like, I don't have time for that. Yeah, you do. Especially if you look at, for people out there, your mental health is higher. If your mental health was a 5, it would be a 911. You have to meditate for a very solid period of time. Maybe your physical health was higher. So we take away from the physical health time and we put it in the mental health. You've got your puzzle now. And once you help someone find their puzzle, then they know how to resource. And you're just reallocating. We're not going to take it away for long. You're just going to shuffle the deck and get it towards what you want, so you can create more of what you need to have in your life, so you can be a better mom, a better parent, a better spouse.
I love how you said about dreaming basically positively instead of negatively, or setting up your mind. What you just talked about made me think about, people should set up their mind before they fall asleep in that positive way, that positive outcome. Thinking about everything that could go right instead of what could go wrong. And then as you dream, your dreams will follow suit. So what you're thinking about before you go to sleep could affect your rest and your subconscious as you're dreaming, which then could affect how you feel when you wake up in the morning. So you could get stuck in this cycle of always your sleep time, you're going to sleep, sleeping, and waking up is always fear-based or negative, which indirectly or directly affects your day. So you never kind of get out of it. Does that make sense?
Well, absolutely. That's what I've been studying. So one thing I would also suggest is doing a dump. You know how you take a dump?
Yeah.
Dump your mind dump. Do a mind dump. Take your journal, write out all the crap you know you have to do. Put it aside, then meditate. Then imagine your life as though everything you've ever dreamed of, that you've ever wanted, has already happened. What does that feel like in your body? Your son's graduated college. You guys are empty nesters.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want. You have grandkids. They're healthy. They're wonderful. Everybody's happy. You know, imagining those things going on for you.
Yeah.
Your kids are beyond happy. What's that feel like in your body?
Like everything worked out. Everything's okay.
As though it's already happened in this moment. Happened.
So yeah, because isn't it true? Your body reacts to whatever your thoughts become your reality.
Yeah.
And so whatever you're thinking about, your body doesn't know if it's really happening or not. So you're putting your body through the trauma and the stress, even if you're just thinking about a situation, right?
Well, the body's speaking too. If you know kinesiology, the body's actually trying to communicate. We just give more attention to what? Thoughts. We don't give as much attention to our body until what happens?
Autoimmune disease, sickness,
metabolic,
and then you're finally like,
yeah.
You're talking? Oh, have you been talking this whole time and I haven't been listening? Yeah. And then you're like chasing the mind addiction of fear, hostility, all the things that are negative. And what you could start doing is having them balance, because the body wants to be in balance. The body wants to be healthy. Like it will regrow limbs and parts of your, like, I mean, maybe not in a physical human being, but in some cases you can heal yourself. And what you think about, you bring about. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard about your thoughts can become your reality. So
I think that's been true forever, and we just have not really given it permission. And now I feel like we're just coming up on the evolution of consciousness where you have permission. You have permission, Nicole. As a matter of fact, I am commanding you for 30 days. Imagine your life as though everything you've ever dreamed of is so, so beautiful, so happy. And do that for 30 days and see if anything changes. And if it doesn't, stop doing it. But if it does, which it has for me, it doesn't mean that life doesn't have opportunities. It means that I call them opportunities, and that, you know what I mean? Instead of getting really angry, now I'm running energy of hope and transformation and evolution. And what's the lesson here? And it's, for some people, it's like, what's that? Well, if that's not good for you, then don't do it. I'm not asking anybody who's not a match for me. I feel like I sing my soul's note. And if it tunes into you, great. It's just like Trump. He's tuning it. He hits a tuning fork. Whoever's attracted, come in. If you're not, check out.
Right,
it's like TV. Change the freaking channel.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating point you're bringing up, because not just Trump, but it made me think about it. He elicits such a negative response from some people when you can just keep moving on. You don't need to get sucked into that whole vortex of his energy if it doesn't agree with you. So I think what you're saying is spot on. If it doesn't work, just keep going. Don't let it throw you off.
You just went out.
Yeah, but don't let it throw you off that much. It's not a big deal.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Now, that's the part where people don't like to take responsibility.
Yeah.
That it's their choice. That's why lawsuits are so heavy. That's why attorneys have so much work, because people do not want to take responsibility for the fact that they're making the choice where, granted, and I use Trump because we're in Florida, and that just, I know, triggers so many people, but I always yell this to the drivers who almost hit me or they honk at me. I'm from California. California, we let each other cross the street. It's like I'm from Kansas.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that it is up to the individual. Something happens in your life. What is your decision around how you're going to respond to it? Are you going to react with violence? Use someone else's system, which is what my therapist told me my mom used to do. She would use other people's systems to run her emotions. And they were usually
What do you mean by that? I can get it with like the recent stuff with Charlie Kirk, right? They didn't like his words, so they're going to go shoot him. But what is that other system?
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. And honestly, I didn't even know who he was because I don't watch the news. My nervous system can't handle it. And I'm sorry for the people out there who are upset that I am not putting myself in a position of having to expose myself to things like that. But I just choose where very consciously I put my energy, because my nervous system can't handle that stuff. Like, I don't know him. I'm sorry, but that's
you don't have to be sorry for not knowing him. No one should make you feel sorry for not knowing who Charlie Kirk is.
Well, I mean, everybody's entitled. Everybody's right by their method. That's kind of how I try to see the world, is that you see it one way. And the way I got there was with doctors. I trained doctors for 20 years. So doctors all see things from their perspective. Everybody's channeling through whatever they see things through. So what was your point again? You said
it was asking about it was how your mom used other systems, other people's systems.
Oh, yeah. So she would get angry. So we would go to Nordstrom. Well, mom had this great thing she would do. We were on food stamps, but she had a credit card. So she'd go buy $1,500 worth of clothes, which was a lot back then. Yeah. We would get to wear the clothes. We would do drink champagne and do like a, what do girls do when we get all dressed up in front of the mirror? We would have so much fun.
Fashion show.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she would take the clothes back. And back in the old days, they would challenge her. They would be like, well, now they do it for sure. But back then they'd have moments where they'd be like, ma'am, this looks like it's been worn. And she would lose her shit, and she would use their system processing her emotions. Instead of like, so for me, when somebody loses their shit, it's just an indication that I don't want to call it lazy, but if you don't know how to move emotions like anger through your own body, that usually means no one sat with you and said, hey, where are you feeling that in your body? Are you tuning in? Because it's your anger until you expel it onto somebody else. It's like splashing them with a hot cup of water or shooting them to that degree. Yeah. But it's still not personal. They have emotions.
Yeah.
They have shit that's going on.
Yeah.
And they're choosing you as the person who's in front of them, not for any particular reason, or maybe it is, but it doesn't matter. It's still not personal. They're having this emotion and they want to express it to someone, and they don't know how to deal with it themselves.
Yeah.
They're projecting.
Or objectify. I love to objectify people now because we didn't used to be able to do it. When you use an app and you're dating, you can objectify guys like men. Yeah. Well, anyways, you do any one of those things, like however you're responding or reacting to whatever's going on in front of you.
Right.
But if it's an energy and you're angry, yes, my therapist used to say my mom would use other people's systems to work out her emotional shit.
That's interesting.
I think parents also do that too with their children, where if you're stressed out about finances or you're stressed out about anything that's going on with job or whatever, and then like the smallest thing might happen with your child, but all that anger and stress from this other situation then goes on to your kid.
Right.
I think that happens a lot.
That's
with
displacement.
Displacement of your anger. Yeah, for sure. Have you heard of Carl Jung's internal and external locus of control?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that is what you're talking about, that self accountability of dealing with your own shit before you start to put it onto others out there in the world. But it like you've said, it's a skill and it needs to be practiced. Like how you just challenged me to doing this for 30 days. It's almost like start lifting weights for 30 days, start eating clean for 30 days. It's just, it goes along the lines of all the things to better yourself. You have to do it for isn't it like 3 weeks to form a habit or something like that?
I don't know the science on it, but I'm a big advocate of if you work out or start a diet, you've got to make the hardest day is like day 21. It's like the third week in.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks, anybody can do anything for 2 weeks, but the third week is when it starts to really sort of work. It's you eat healthy, all those shitty toxins have left maybe. By the third week of lifting weights, you're probably not as sore. Walking, you're not as tired. So that's when you start to see progress, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. You just went out again.
No, I didn't.
Oh, there you are. Sorry. So to go back to my other question though, since you've lived here for 2 years but you pretty much grew up on the West Coast, that's been your life.
Let me just, you're building a muscle basically.
Muscle
and just want to
yeah.
say discipline in the military. Think about Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
What are they great at? Anybody who's ever accomplished anything worth having is disciplined and militant about it. And that is the thing that most people are lazy as F, is that my goal is to get you to get out of your comfort zone. I want you to be so uncomfortable on a regular basis, whether it means you want to say something to someone and you no longer communicate in that way because you're going to only talk about love and puppy dogs and happiness. And you just say the things that are kind to people. And that's so uncomfortable for you. Like I am in my car and I'm ready to, so that's the intention. And when I went to Dr. Joe's workshop, I'm going to share that. I did a 7-day meditation. He has us do a 5.5-hour meditation. We're up at 4 a.m. We're up at 6 a.m. He gets us out of our comfort zone. And I know this as being a coach for 23 years. I'm sober 25. You have to stop doing what's easy and start doing what you don't know, what is not normal. That's how you start and create a habit. And that's how you break a habit. Goes both ways.
What do you think though, as far as society is crazy, right? And I think a lot of people are outside of their comfort zone on the daily. And so to say, hey, get out of your comfort zone, how does that land, I guess, in a sense?
I'm talking about, okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What is it in your life that you would like to create in the next 90 days? What would you like to have? So I'm talking about intentionality. People are crazy in their day because they don't start their morning thinking about the people they're going to see and what they want to create. They're lazy and they're crazy. Like you said, instead of being intentional and holding and creating a container like you guys have here for people that get to come in and share their stories. By the way, anybody who wants to come on the show, it's so good. Really beautiful to get to share your story. But I do think that society is crazy, but mostly because they haven't done the discipline. She quit drinking.
Yeah.
That discipline creates, it's like a domino effect. When it's the butterfly effect, you do one thing and it creates lifetimes. It creates, you think about our ancestors. I've done healing for our ancestors, for mine for sure. Like when you do something different than what the people in your ancestral space have not been able to accomplish. We're doing things that people could never do. It takes work and effort. What does it take to have a hot body?
Yeah,
what are you doing right now?
Eat well, sleep.
You guys are doing it together. You're working out. You're lifting weights.
Yeah.
Weights are heavy.
Yeah.
You got to do it over and over and over again. So that's what the weight of focusing on what you want, imagining on what it feels like in your body. It's such a freaking high. I do a walking meditation as often as I can in the morning, so I can imagine the life, and he has you walk with it, so you can start now living in life as though everything in my life has already come true. I see the audience clapping because I've written my book. I'm a best-selling author. I'm helping millions of people all over the world. I imagine my community, all my friends, everything in my life is so amazing. And I'm just so happy. And what's that feel like in my body? Bliss. And you do that for an hour every day. And guess what starts to happen?
You start to believe it, I would assume, and start to feel it and live it, most likely.
Wow. Things start showing up that you're like, oh my God, did that just happen? I wanted that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you're tapping into, though, the power of perception and how you look at things and just how you approach the world. Because there's always two choices, and you've touched on it, right? There's at least two choices, but you can either see the good or the bad. And you're talking about seeing the good.
Yes.
And then that just manifests itself and it picks up momentum. And before you know it, it's all good. And it can be, though. I don't doubt that, actually.
But it also, I would assume, wards off
Evil.
disease physically.
Yeah.
Like if you relinquish yourself of the weight of fear and the weight of uncertainty and the weight of stress as much as you can, your body starts to heal. And if you're young, you could do this proactively, speaking to the younger generations, and you don't even get the disease to begin with. You're staying ahead of the game by putting yourself in that space. It's actually a form of health, taking care of your physical health too. But they could do it. They could be way better off than many of us, or us Gen Xers at least, that just grinded through because we ignored everything we needed to get through life. Right. Survival mode. We've been literally we just ignored every sign our body and mind were giving us. We were like, I'll be with you when I can get to you. I have to do this thing right now. Right. And then we did this thing right now for like 30 years. And so it's just now where it's like, okay, wait, now I think I need to address you now because you don't have a choice.
Right.
Because you're physically have to now, and you spoke to this, or mentally, something is forcing you to now have to acknowledge yourself. So much of it's about honoring yourself too, and giving time to yourself, which I don't think comes naturally to women in a certain way. So for vanity wise, but moms immediately put themselves in the back. Like the woman that we were, not all moms. Some moms are great at balancing. I've always been admired women like that. But in general, a lot of moms are like, my needs now are here because the children, you just naturally give to them first. It's like it's an animalistic thing. You just don't even question it. And then your spouse, and then the home. And if you work outside the home, your job and your pets, and the plants. People don't realize if you have a lot of plants, they require a lot of attention.
It can be stressful.
Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, now I have to water the plants. And that's a whole other thing. But no, if I could go back, I would have honored me as a woman much more. Self-care wasn't even a thing.
But you can start now.
Yeah. And I have. No, I totally am great about that.
I just want to get behind this 30-day thing that I planted to see if we can close the deal on that.
I think I will. And I think about talking about the Joe Dispenza, the whole meditation thing, because whenever I've pictured meditation, and I'm sure a lot of listeners picture meditation, is you're sitting in a room and you're still and it's dark and you need to just you have to set up a whole thing just to do a meditation. But what you're talking about is you can meditate anywhere, anytime. You could incorporate it in. So when you're talking about walking meditation, is it more you're walking and you've put your mental state into that space? So you're still amongst life.
Yeah.
But you can adjust your mental. Yeah. Did you learn that at his workshop?
I've been doing walking meditations, but not to this degree. His walking meditations are audibles where he has you stand, close your eyes, get the chakra centers all lit up so they're connecting, and it's heart and brain coherence. Heart coherence is a very popular meditation type. And he has you get your heart and your brain connected, connecting with your chakras, getting yourself in the state. He prepares you. And then now we're going to open your eyes and walk into your future self. The power, and I mean, he's got so many great meditations. But yes. So now you're taking your state into being actively involved in society where you're carrying that same frequency with you. So it takes practice.
Yeah, I would assume so. That's the key right there, is being able to carry the frequency.
Well, it does, because we talked about it. And you're in the frequency of fear. And I know a lot of moms that are, and that does create disease. So stop it.
Yeah.
Well, how do you deal with that? It's a great motivator.
Well, you spoke to it earlier. You imagine it. What if it all works? And what if it's going to work out? It has worked out. It did work out.
How old are your kids? They made it through life. You got through the baby stage. No one thinks they're going to make it through that.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
My kid's going to wake up. They're going to be on, I'm going to be laying on them in the middle of the night. Who knows? Every parent has had some fear.
Oh, yeah.
That their kids are not going to survive childhood.
Totally.
But they're teenagers, so you've proven them wrong. So why not keep doing it in a way that makes you healthy? Why not keep showing up? And the other part to what you said about moms putting themselves last, what would happen if just putting yourself first meant thinking about everything working out perfectly? What if that was the one thing that people started doing?
Yeah. It's like a great form of self-care.
It is self-care. Absolutely.
It is
conscious awareness of your frequency, and everybody's carrying a frequency with them. And honestly, because I don't drink, I can see people's frequency, especially on Atlantic Avenue here in Delray Beach. When I walk down the road, I can see someone's frequency.
Yeah. Well, that brings me back to this question.
Okay.
Is what are the differences you're seeing living on the East Coast versus the West Coast? You had mentioned that you feel it's way more materialistic here.
Yeah, well, I mean, San Diego's flip-flops and surfers, right?
Right.
Military. And the culture is different. It's Hispanic and Asian culture. And there's a lot more Latinos down in Miami. And what I love about that is, one, I'm going to explain the difference in what I've seen, is Hispanic culture is ashamed of the fact that they speak Spanish. Latino culture is not ashamed.
Oh, no.
And they're driven.
Yeah.
They're achievers. They're going after it. And they're competitive. And then the Russians that are here too are like some of the most competitive people I've ever met. And there's an energetic field around that of how people process. I think for me, I actually love the Latinos because of the fire, but they also love family. I really love the family vibes. So there's a lot of people that I've met here, and Middle Eastern. I mean, God, I met this woman who's 79 years old and she's in the best shape. I just learned how to do water Pilates. It was so fun. What's my point? West Coast or East Coast? East Coast is what school did you go to? There's it's another frequency of competition with materialism. And I think the school you went to matters. But to me, I have gone to more personal development. I've gone inside more than I've gone outside. And while they may have a degree or they may have, $1 billion, sadly, I know someone who was a billionaire and passed away because they were so unhappy, I think. So I think that the difference is that there's not a lot of spiritual caretaking as much that I've seen out here. And it's not that I'm criticizing religion. I think the religion is great. I know so many different religious people. Mormons. I mean, I grew up with it, with building an MLM. And it would be nice to see people go inside and take care of themselves more. And I don't think there's as much of that. It's more granola on the West Coast.
For sure.
Granola to me means you're a hippie, you're going inside, you're doing the woo-woo stuff, the alternative stuff. It's not as much, I don't need to go to church to meet God. I need to go inside to meet my God, to connect with my spirit, to connect with that consciousness that makes me feel love. Because I've had some people ask me with critical thinking that are religious, well, what do you pray about? What are you meditating on at those events? It's love. No one can fight that. No one's going to argue with me. Like, isn't that why we're here? Isn't that what we feel together? Like, I love getting together with you and seeing you. Our high school years bring us together in that feeling of love and connection and gratitude.
Yeah.
And we remember each other from being young and we've come together. Like, and you guys with your marriage of how many years?
31. Yep.
Yeah.
When you
Crazy.
tap into that and you start with that and you remember how much you love each other's spirits that have hung into this 3-decade relationship and have built those humans that are now running around there doing stuff. I just feel like the West Coast is a little softer, a little more feminine. The East Coast is a little more masculine. It's more competitive, get things done.
Interesting. No, that makes sense. It's an interesting way to sum it up. Feminine versus masculine. I never thought about it that way.
That's why I moved here.
What are your thoughts though, in terms of the people you met here? I'll say for myself, I find East Coasters slightly more genuine than I find West Coasters. And that's a big paradigm or a big difference, I think. I think you're spot on the spirituality, the more formalized religion here versus more of a internal spirituality out there. But I'm curious what you think of the authenticity angle.
That's a great point. And I think you're right. I think that I've been invited to more parties, especially during the holidays. Everybody wants to take care of little Whitney. She's all by herself. And I'm used to in California just feeding myself, doing on my own. And I'm good with that. But everybody wants to be in your business and they want to mother you and they want to take care of you and they're in your stuff. So there is definitely, that's a great point. There's a difference between people wanting to be in community. That's the difference that I see, where they're more segregated communities. They're more protective of their tribe, or they don't necessarily want to bring everybody in.
On the West Coast?
The West Coast. Like I've heard that from people that they don't feel as welcomed on the West Coast. And I've seen that in certain communities that I'm part of. I think the East Coast just has more of what you're saying. It's like there's more of a genuine, maybe they've had harder times. I don't know.
I think some of it is tradition. And well, Spanish culture is very inclusive. Italians are very inclusive. Irish are very inclusive.
Big families.
Big families. There's just a lot of tradition. And so I think it's more like I know for our Thanksgiving, it just keeps growing because our older kids have friends who need places. And they know the house is.
You have an open invitation.
You have an open
If
invitation.
you're around.
Yeah, you have an open invitation. But I think there's an interesting, I talked about this in one of our episodes, is that because I grew up on the West Coast, he grew up on the East Coast. I found when I moved to the East Coast, it was like a breath of fresh air, because even if somebody was abrupt with me, I knew exactly where they were coming from.
Right.
Where on the West Coast, there were people that seemed so nice, but behind the scenes, they were not that way. I'm not saying that doesn't exist here, and I know I'm generalizing, but the way I've summed it up is, from my experiences, on the West Coast in general, I feel that people can be nice, but they're not necessarily kind. And on the East Coast, people aren't necessarily nice, but they're kind.
Beautifully said.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Like they'll fix your tire, but they may be mean to you while they're doing it out here.
Right. It's more humanity who's got each other's back. And on the West Coast, it's dog eat dog.
A little bit. And,
a little bit.
And so it's such a weird contrast with the spirituality and the granola and I know what you're talking about, because again, I grew up there.
Yeah.
But it's a weird balance, right? Because I do think there is authenticity in that. But is it an inclusive authenticity, or is it a competitive authenticity? Do
you remember when we were in Oregon and we moved to California and everybody said, oh, the Californians are moving in, or Oregonians don't want people moving into Oregon?
Yeah.
That I have never heard of that out here. And also the Latinos that I met when I first got here, the guy who was driving my Uber is trying to bring his wife or his girlfriend or somebody from another country here. And they're proud of it and they own it because they're doing it in a legal way. I think it has some to do with Mexico, where people have gotten in illegally and they're ashamed and they don't want to speak Spanish because they're embarrassed, or they want to measure up to something. I don't know. That was part of the vibration that I felt into when I moved here, is how proud Latinos are. And I think by the year 2020, I think I heard 80% of the population is going to speak Spanish. They're breeders out here like crazy. And the community aspect of big families is a big part of it.
Huge.
And I think that California is, maybe it's more split up. Maybe people who move to California, like it is in Miami a little bit, they're coming to reinvent themselves. Those people were running from something like, what is it? LA, Hollywood. And that's the same with Miami, I heard. I don't know. I have no idea but you're right. We're onto something here. We need to keep dissecting it and get clarity around it.
Yeah, because I think that like sometimes, I know it's in the dead community, it can be like, who's the most deadhead of them all?
Grateful Dead, right?
Yeah,
up there.
yeah. But it's like, who's the most
I can't stand hippies.
hippie of them all?
In that sense.
It's almost becomes a competitiveness of how woke can you be? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then you go down a rabbit hole where you start judging each other on, well, you're not doing enough wokeness, and this is coming from a growing up in Portland vibe. I'm not talking about political at all. So I don't know. I just, again, it can become heavy with, I need to follow these things in order to come across that I am spiritual, I am granola or whatever. Right. Whereas when I moved to the East Coast, it was just like, I felt liberated. Yeah. I felt like I could just be whoever I am, and either people took me or didn't, but I didn't care. It just, everyone was just kind of, I don't know, it was more straightforward.
Part of it is moving away from somewhere into a new environment, for sure. Yeah. But I also agree with you, like, because my dad was a born again Christian, and I know, and I built an MLM, so I know every religion out there, and they all want to enroll you, and they're all right. The truth is their truth. Right. It's not the truth that you can't speak in AA. They teach you, don't ever talk as a third party. Always say I. Yeah. Don't say we, they. You can't speak for in AA. I mean, we've been broken. Like, fuck, you've seen the bottom of the bottom. Yeah. So you can't speak for somebody else. Yes. And the challenge is that while people judge the born again Christians for being so extreme, then I see the same thing happen with that community. The other, you go granolas, right? Yeah, it's extremes. Nothing good comes from extremes. I think it's about ego. So one of the things when I first did my first medicine journey, he said it's the death of the ego, and that's my experience with death. It's love. When your brain stops working, when we're out, and I know it's harder for people with kids, but death is beautiful. Like. It's spirit connection, God, everything you've ever, happiness, joy, like joy of love and gratitude, like so overwhelming. That's what I experienced when my ego died. And I do believe that, what are we all connected by? What's the one thing that every single person that is connected to this planet has to do in order to stay here? And when we stop doing it, we're no longer breathe. Here. Just breathe. Yeah. I got it meditation. Right. Yeah. Interesting. No, it really makes sense. And I think humility, I wish I would have learned humility at a much younger age and let go of more ego. And I don't know if that's just through maturity, but I don't know if that's a Gen X thing. I don't know. But I think humility goes hand in hand with that. You were a little stuck up when we were, I'm just kidding. What do you mean by that? Help me understand humility. I did not consider myself stuck up because I was so cut open because of my childhood. But I'm curious what you think. And I did admire and look up to the popular kids that were popular in a way that I didn't understand, because I didn't come from a family where a mom actually took care of me and cared if what was the thing? I don't remember what we talked about, but tell me what humility humility, like I feel is when you approach anybody, it could be in your daily life, the grocery store, your job, or just coming at it where you're not automatically in competition with whoever you're talking to or trying to compare. That's competition. But I've got a great book for you. You're coming at everything with an openness, and it's not about you. You're just present. And if somebody's talking to you, you're truly listening to what they're saying and not thinking about what you're going to say next and compare it to what they're saying. Right. You're really just present and absorbing what they're saying, and it's okay. You don't have to counter it. Sometimes you do to relate with someone. Be like, I understand what you're saying, it's not just back and forth like you're playing tennis. Okay, well, here's my experience. Here's my experience. So it's just that humility. You're not judging people is what. Well, you're not judging people, but you're also not trying to one up with anyone or clout chase, or it's just that's their experience. It doesn't really have anything to do with your experience. You can listen to someone and not have to interject yourself. I have a practice you could do for 7 days with each other. Do you want to try it? So let's frame it. Yeah. What you were saying, what I heard, is being present for another person and actually listening to them. And the way that I have been taught by the FBI hostage negotiator is that you repeat the last 3 words of what someone says. And how I look at this is it's getting gotten. And what you're basically doing is getting that person. And I've gone on lots of dates after, I've got all these tools. I've been practicing communication skills for so long. And the key is making it about them and holding space for their light. Yes. So you guys are doing that. Like an active listening exercise? Because that's kind of like that repeating back what I just heard, right? The confirmation. The essence of what that person just said before you move on to whatever it is that you want to talk about for 7 days with your son. don't add what you want to say. I know it's hard
Bad
because
example, he's 15.
Right. I get it. And try it with whoever you can, maybe at work, whatever you want to try it with each other for sure.
Yeah.
But what I have practiced doing is I don't need it to be, I'm full. Every morning I meditate, I fill up with Mother Earth, I meditate, I'm present.
Yeah.
So I don't need to talk at all about myself. So I've gone on dates where all I did was repeat back what I heard that person say. And by the end of it, they'd be like, I feel like I didn't get to know anything about you. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't need you to know me. I want to support the evolution of the humanity of the person that's in front of me and hold space for them if they've got things to share. And it's so much easier if you have conversations where you're really just being present for that person.
Yeah.
But I think what I heard you also say about humility is the competition. And I wanted to say there's a book. It's so good. And it's in my book that I wrote. And the chapter is Bright Light. And I had a meltdown with another woman. And my mentor said to me, I want you to read this book by Alfie Kohn. It's called The Case Against Competition. It changed. It was another turning point. And he teaches you, he's a psychologist, and he goes back. Alfie Kohn's a great author, by the way, but it's like a really interesting manuscript about how we are created in society to compete with one another. And it builds insecurity. And it also is, competition is insecurity, 100%. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So when you start being present, when you're full, because you don't need someone to hear you, you don't need me to be, I don't know,
validation, that external
or
validation.
admiring, or all
when
that
you
stuff.
love yourself and you know yourself and you're confident in your own body, you could be as nice to the grocery store clerk as you are to the president of the United States. They're both just fucking people.
And it really, when you start to function through life like that, you realize that you're changing the frequency of that person's day. Like for that moment, you kind of helped everything shift for them too, because you're giving them that space, you're giving them that positivity, you're giving them that time. It could be something as simple as that interaction with the cashier at the grocery store. But for that moment, you shifted something right there. It doesn't mean the person behind you isn't an asshole and is going to shift it right back for them to where they were. But you're at least you're coming from a place of giving. And it's a much smoother and enjoyable way of going through your day. It really is.
I was just going to say, I've found when you do that, though, so many people don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to absorb it. Whether it's like I was telling you when we were up in DC and I was saying hi to the cleaning crew, they were looking at me like I was an alien, and I was just trying to be nice, but they didn't know how to take it because they're not in that environment up there. Whereas down here, it's way more receptive. It was wild.
Yeah. It was
well, I would ask you questions about that because yo hablo muy poquito el español, but yo necesito aprender. I want to learn Spanish. When I practice Spanish with people who speak Spanish, it doesn't matter what, where, how. When I try, it's about language in many cases. Sometimes it can be frequency of energy. Sometimes it's what you say. And then you realize that when you just do a little, yo hablo muy poquito el español.
You think that goes a long way? Then it's just speaking their language. It
Spanish?
has to, as I say it out loud.
I don't know if they were.
I didn't make that assumption. That's why I stuck with English, to be honest with you.
Down here, a lot of them are
I made
Spanish.
the mistake once I had a driver taking me somewhere, and I assumed he was Indian, and he was Pakistani. I totally offended the guy. So ever since then,
do you know how to speak Indian versus Pakistani?
No, but they hate each other. So if you call an Indian person Pakistani or Pakistani.
But I can only be responsible for my intentions. So if my intentions are good and I'm actually speaking Spanish to try to connect, it's like 0.5% of people who would ever, in my experience, get offended. It literally brings me closer together. I get people giving me stuff. Like I have friends that go to the same place that they've gone to for 20 years and I just started there because I just moved here.
Yeah.
I am very fortunate to be genuine and present in my body, and people can feel it when you're not doing something to get something, but you're literally just being present to give. And you're giving, and if you pay attention to in your body where that comes up for you. And the other thing, because you look off sometimes. So what I would do with you is I would love to put you guys in an eye gazing ceremony together where you look into each other's eyes, because the other thing of eye contact, when you hold eye contact with someone and you breathe with them, that is one of the deepest connections someone can make, because you see, the eyes are the seat of the soul.
Yeah.
Soul. But I think that a lot of men have, that's a very intimate space.
Yes.
What you're talking about.
It is.
And I think so much I'm generalizing. I know there's going to be, for listeners, I know I'm generalizing, but I think for a lot of men,
I like to make people uncomfortable.
I think their idea of intimacy is the actual act.
Mm-hmm.
And they miss all the other levels of intimacy that can make that act a gazillion times better.
Yes.
But they skip. Because I think growing up, they weren't even taught about any of that.
Correct.
So they don't even know.
Right. And so when I teach people that at a bar and they want to know what Tantra is, I'm like, let's just do eye gazing.
Yeah.
Let's just sit. And where do you feel it in your body? Let's just breathe together and hold eye contact.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? Men and women both are very uncomfortable with it. But here's what I've always thought. You can't meet someone where you've never met yourself.
Mm.
And so for me to have someone who's going to meet me, they better have met themselves. Otherwise, we just can't play. I mean, no judgment. God bless. You go do what you need to do. But you got, in order for somebody to really know themselves,
mm-hmm.
you know, I don't care if you get a mirror out and you sit in the mirror and you breathe and you get naked and you just love into the person that you are fortunate to come here to be.
Yeah.
Like there's like an essence of that. And I'm not criticizing you. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying that and I don't know that scenario. I could imagine there's probably 1,000 things that were going on. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that's usually my intention, is to connect authentically and cultivate trust. And the way I do that differs depending on the environment I'm in. But if I speak Spanish to you and you're not Spanish, what my intention was is to connect authentically and cultivate trust. And I've made that mistake a couple times. And some people are offended and some people aren't. But either way, they're not my people. If they don't know where my heart is and you can't feel it, that's okay.
And you know where you're coming from. So you're comfortable with either reaction, because their reaction isn't going to affect you as much. You knew you were coming from a good place. Your intention was positive.
Communication is the response that I get. So it's a learning. So if I get a response that's not positive, then I go back to what you just did, which is, okay, so what was I not seeing in that moment that I missed? Because, you know, it happens to me just like it does everybody
and for
else.
me, I didn't take it personally. It was more that it was like, how could I would rather have connected, and it didn't happen.
Tried.
And it was genuine.
A good intention.
How's your day? How are you? Hi. We're in the same elevator together. You know.
Well, so you mentioned dating before. I have a question about that, but you were in this relationship for 18 years and you guys didn't get married, correct?
Yeah. I don't believe in getting the government involved in my relationship unless there's a lot of money.
Okay. So that was my question.
If anybody wants to apply within.
Okay. Did he want to get married and you didn't, or both of you were on the same page?
No, we didn't. We both had an agreement. He did get married during COVID. He's going through a divorce right now.
Okay. But when you were together, you were both on the same page with that.
Yes. No kids, no marriage.
And have you always not wanted to have kids?
Yes. When I was very young, my mom said, never have kids and never get married. She screamed it at me.
Okay.
I think we wrecked the third car. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that stayed
with you. It stayed with me. And I need to re-raise myself. I had no business bringing someone else into the story right then.
Yes.
I just didn't. And I just didn't want the responsibility. I mean, even an animal.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, God bless you. I got enough doing all right here. I got a full-time job.
Yeah. So child-free by choice. And there's a lot of women currently that are making those choices in the younger generation. I think for a lot of Gen X women, it wasn't as common because we were raised to get married and have children.
Right. You did what your parents did and told you to do. It's all about programming.
Yeah, exactly. Did you find, as a Gen X woman, being child-free by choice, was that uncomfortable at times by people's reactions to the fact that you weren't married, you didn't have children?
No.
Okay.
But I don't take personal other people's behavior usually. When I was younger and we went to 29 weddings, there was one wedding that I was like, maybe I want to get married. I don't know. Because you see it happening. It's just like anything. Pavlov's dog. It's happening over and over again. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
And it was still a no. I do want to get married now. Oddly enough, I know exactly where I'm going to get married. I visioned it. I do envision it. Like I imagine it. I'm so excited. But then no, I didn't. I've been really satisfied with the choices that I've made. I'm really grateful that I made the choices that I made.
Why now though? What's changed?
Well, I went to this place in Tulum that was so beautiful, and it just felt so good to be there. And I could just see myself with shoes off, white dress, all my friends around, and, you know, having that commitment and that honoring of our relationship. And I'm fucking old. So, I mean, I only got one last relationship in me that's going to be long term. So now I'm open to it. And it doesn't have to be legal. Like it could just be a ceremony. We were talking about doing a ceremony before I ended my relationship. I was going to have Justin Timberlake come and play, or Beyonce. I had all these delusions of grandeur.
Can I ask, or may I ask why you chose to end the relationship? Because that's a long relationship.
It's a big story. So how I'm going to frame it is I outgrew that relationship. We were in therapy, and I do recommend every person out there who's in a relationship with someone who isn't you to have a coach or a therapist or somebody who helps you translate that relationship, because it's so valuable to have. We always had a coach helped us create our relationship. So over a telephone, we decided to come into monogamy. And I remember the coach arguing with us, and he's like, you can't build a relationship on fun, great sex, adventure. And as long as we're learning and growing together, we'll stay together. I found that I continued to grow. We got 40 acres in Tahoe. He fell in love with the land. I went to Tony Robbins. I kept doing all of these things, and I continued to move forward. And he loved taking care of that land. He's still taking care of that land. It's almost caught on fire. The snow fell through the roof. But that's what he chose. We had a baby that was 40 acres. And it's every guy's wet dream. Every man that we brought on that property, it's off the grid. It was great. It was like Family Robinson. The first year we got a foot of snow. The second year we got 20 feet of snow in a matter of hours. And I was like, look, I have been saving, and I can talk about money all day long. I've studied so many books on money. I would recommend reading The Richest Man in Babylon if somebody hasn't read it. The Millionaire Next Door, Stop Acting Rich. There's so many juicy books out there. Die with Zero, for the parents who think they need to save so much money instead of actually giving it to the kids and enjoying it in the moment. But back to the ending of the relationship. So now we've got 40 acres, 20 feet of snow. I have been working my ass off for 20 years almost, traveling 2 weeks out of every month. He's a surfer, living his life essentially, because I didn't really know who I was. I loved every minute of it. We had a great relationship. We did personal work together, spiritual work, medicine work. And there was a moment that I remember having a conversation with him where his habits changed. And it wasn't a values change. It was just the behavior had shifted in a way that no longer matched what I was actively pursuing. And then, I don't know, I can't tell this part. So there was another act that happened when I went back to San Diego, and someone turned on my Kundalini. When my Kundalini got switched on.
What's that?
The Kundalini is, it's like a snake that lives inside you. It's a spiritual, energetic field. And it got flipped on from an energetic healer. And when it turned on, everything looked different to me. The things that originally looked like love now look like control. And I just started seeing everything differently. But I don't think it was one thing that happened. I always tell people you're either growing together or you're growing apart. And I think we grew apart. He fell in love with the land. He wanted to keep tilling the land. You know, we'd eat dinner at home. We'd have breakfast at home. I love going out. You know, I'll take myself out to dinner once a week. I love having fun. I want to be, you know, and this was like Family Robinson. Great. It was The Shining at the end. And so eventually it was just like no longer my bag, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And so how hard was it to disengage your life from him and from everything?
There's a book called Conscious Uncoupling by
Yes.
Kathy Woodard, and who made it popular? Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris.
Yeah.
What's his name? R.E.M.?
No, Chris Martin
Yes.
from Coldplay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's been very famous lately.
Yes.
And they made that book famous. So basically what happened was it was like a big switch inside of me turned off. And I prayed and I cried and I wanted it back so bad. I was like, where did the love go? It was like I wasn't in love anymore.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking. It was really difficult for me. But I'm not a person who stays. And what I learned is if I had a kid, I think this happens to a lot of people. They know it's over and they have to stay because they don't want to lose the kid. You don't want to share. And we're not cutting it in half. I'm about to not be with it.
Right.
And then they stay. And instead of speaking it out and communicating it in a loving way, because I said love, we're going to stay on the frequency of love this whole time. It got rocky. Did I do it the entire time? No, but my intention was to bring it back up to love. The frequency would go here. We bring it back to love. And because the love that we had, that we shared for so long, the basis of who we are is love. So I just continually brought it back to that. And so we consciously uncoupled and brought our community in and asked for support. We did a video to talk about the fact that we were uncoupling and shared it with our business partners. And that was one of the most difficult things that I've ever done in my life, is to walk away from somebody who helped me get sober, who's one of my best friends, who I adored and shared such an incredible 18 years with. We had so much fun. I became who I am because of him. He's my mentor in business and play and everything. Like, I'm so fortunate to have had that chapter, and everything in me said, this is over, even though I really tried, but it just was done.
How old were you when you?
I think about 46. So I'm 54 now. It's been about 8 years.
8 years. And so when you left Tahoe, where did you go when that was done? What was your next phase of life then? Where did you end up?
I bounced around a little bit. So I've been traveling and being a nomad for many, many years, trying to identify where Whitney wants to land next. But the first stop I made was Burning Man.
Was that your first time there?
Yes. It was my only time too. Basically what I realized is when that relationship ended, he's secure attached. My favorite book is one of my favorite books, Attached. If you've never read that, it's such a great book. Teaches you about attachment styles. He's secure attached. I'm anxious attached because of my childhood. He's normal. I came from a pretty crazy childhood. So being in that relationship, I was anxious secure. So when we ended, I had no idea what was going to happen and what has happened up until now. This is the first time, like in this last year, where I've been really settled. I'm so happy to be single because I am in love with all parts of me, all parts of my life, everything I've created and built. And I'm untangling from the need to hustle. You talked about it. I'm in my 50s. I hustled for so long. I love being in Florida. The water's warm, but I traveled for quite a while. And then, shortly after I was 46, when I turned 50, just before, I think I was 49, I was at a ceremony and I drank too much water and I had a seizure and I went into a coma for 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, you can overdrink water. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can. You totally mess up your electrolytes.
Yeah,
and
I
all
messed
the
up my
things.
electrolytes, had a seizure, went into a coma for 2 days. Fortunately, I did all that medicine work where you leave your body and you come back in. So it was bliss. I mean, I don't know that I wanted to come back, but I'm supposed to be back to do more work, apparently.
Yeah.
So
Where were you when that happened?
I was in San Diego.
Okay. So do you remember being in the coma? Anything from being in the coma?
I remember coming back and I remember locking eyes with my shaman who looked like this. And I was just like so blissed out and didn't understand because what I experienced again was just love. There's so much love when your unconsciousness goes, and people are so afraid for people who die, they go to heaven, hell. You just become energy. The energy you are now is the energy that you meld into, I believe. That's why I'm doing so much work. And I'm doing it for the whole consciousness, I think, as well as myself. But the more you love, the more you're intentional, the more you're present, the more you work on yourself, the more you love yourself. That's all we're responsible for. And that's all you're taking with you. You love yourself so much that you set a great example for your kids, and that's where they'll go too. Then they have to work on themselves. It's their job. But after that ceremony and the seizure and the coma, I had to get my heart surgery pretty quick.
Okay, so that's when
she told me that I needed to do that. And I did that at Cedars-Sinai. I interviewed 6 doctors. And I believe that the work that I did in my career was preparing me for that event. I found out I had aortic bicuspid stenosis when I turned 40. I had done DMT every month for a year. If you don't know what DMT is, God Molecule, Joe Rogan, it makes your heart race and it takes you to a different planet. But what it did for me is it created a connection with God like nothing I've ever experienced. And it also eliminated my fear of death completely. I have zero fear. I don't want to go yet now. I'm happier than I've ever been. Oh my God, I had no idea that I could get to this point. If you met me 20 years ago, you would not recognize, I don't recognize myself. I have videos and things that I would do, and I could see my face and where I'm holding all this energy and pain, and it's released. I've done enough presence work where it's gone. When I did that ceremony every month for a year, I started having shortness of breath. And then I went to the doctor and they said, oh yeah, you have aortic bicuspid stenosis and you're going to have surgery on your heart, open heart surgery. And I was like, oh crap. But it wasn't that soon. I just couldn't do that medicine anymore. So I stopped doing DMT.
What is the impact of DMT on your heart rate?
They put a heart monitor on me. I did it once since I've had heart surgery and my heart hit 190 beats.
Wow. That's over our 100% mark, I think.
People with heart issues, I do not recommend DMT because your heart can also go erratic, but it has been such a home for me because that was the first medicine I ever did that I wanted to experience it one more time, and he kept my eyes open and he made me look in the mirror the whole time.
Wow.
It was an incredibly healing, beautiful experience.
Can you microdose it so it doesn't
I've done that. Yeah. So you don't leave. It's amazing. But for me, my heart still... It still runs. It's not a good idea for people. If I honor this life that I get to have and I don't want to leave, because when you go, it's the death of the ego. You're experiencing death. So unless you're really up for that, like I know so many people who experience so many wild things on the planet, like jumping out of an airplane and going skiing. Well, this is my jumping out of an airplane. I just ski inside.
Yeah.
I have a question. When you say the death of the ego, and you had mentioned the ceremony before, what was it? The root,
the
Ibogaine. Yeah, that was years later.
What are you considering the death of the ego? I'm thinking in terms of like Freudian ego, and that is what's
There's
your
no
concept?
Thinking. You're not thinking while you're in medicine. The medicine guides you into your body. It's into the spirit world. There are, I believe, multiple realms happening with us right now, but there's only one that we're present to. It's the third dimension. This is it. What we're having in the conversation, this is all we can see. When you shut this down, you can see other parts of elements that are happening. What is it called?
So it's less of a hallucination, more of a freeing of that conscious ego, I guess, in a sense. And it's just whatever enters, I guess.
I think it's up to you. I think everybody's different. So whatever your experiences is for you, and I don't like to tell people like too many details, and I think it's a wise choice not to.
Yeah.
Because your experience could be completely different than mine. But by the way, I'm not a doctor. I'm not recommending anyone do this medicine journey. I do not want to be liable because there's mental illnesses out there, and people can literally lose their mind, and you feel like you have lost your mind. There were moments where I wasn't sure if I was coming back. I didn't know if I'd make it back because you get so like out of it. And then that's where I realized how we're all connected because what he would say is breathe, hold it. Because you take the medicine, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then I'd go. And then you go and then your body starts to breathe again because the body knows what to do. Our bodies are so, so vital in actually trying to share with us what's going on. But many people are so brain programmed. So what I would say is that if you could do medicine, that would allow you to release that. But the first medicine I would start with would be meditation. I did write a little book about this. I interviewed, what's his name, who wrote the, I don't remember his name. Maybe it'll come back to me. But I would start slow, like maybe smoking marijuana. If that's not for you, a little MDMA, mushrooms, do things that are a little slower. DMT literally shoot you into another planet.
Yeah.
You leave your body.
Yeah.
And this guy kept me awake the last time I did it. But anyways, and it also is very taxing on your body. So as you get older, I had no idea. But in the book, Die With Zero, he literally says, look, everybody's saving so much money where when you get old, you don't want to travel when you get old. You're old. You don't want to leave the house. Like you're not going anywhere like you did. Take that vacation now. Spend that money. Take the risk.
Yeah. So with the heart surgery, was it genetic? And I think you had mentioned it was genetic in addition to the abuse, the drug abuse, right? Did that
crystal meth? Yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, they didn't talk about that with me. We didn't have that conversation. I didn't educate them on that because what the doctors do when you interview them to become your new heart surgeon, who's going to do the surgeon, they're just surgeons. Basically, they all told me, but the surgeon I chose, which valve I was going to get. all of them. One of them, like I train doctors for a living for 20 years. I've been teaching doctors how to transition their business from traditional health into alternative medicine, helping people lose weight. And now I'm going in. So I made this the biggest project of my life. Just to frame it, the intention that I put on this was not from fear. The intention I said was life happens. We've got these things that are God is dishing us, or whatever you believe. You're getting handed this opportunity. I got handed the opportunity of, you're going to have heart surgery at 40, they told me. You're going to have heart surgery one day. You're going to have open heart surgery. What do you want to do? How are you going to play this card?
Yeah.
So when I figured out that I had to get it pretty quick, I decided to put together a group of people. I think I organized 60 people. I set an intention to put together my crew. Fortunately, I found heartvalvesurgery.com. It's a book, and it's a website. I bought the book. I went through it. I interviewed 6 physicians. The last one, I think it was the last one. No, second to the last one. He looked at me, and he got up and walked out on me. And what I said to him, because I knew I wasn't going to go with him, there was a rip on the thing. I'm about to give a man at $500,000. That's how much heart surgery costs, by the way. You don't know it because your insurance pays for it. I had incredible insurance. And I knew I was interviewing them because I had the confidence to. And I said, can I ask you a question? And he leans in and he goes, yeah. And I said, why do you think men think they can tell women what to do with their bodies? He got so mad. He's like, are you crazy? Are you going to make it about this? He got up and walked out on me. So I got up and left. I knew I was done with him. Then the next one, I wanted to get on my weight loss program. He was unhealthy. He had broken blood vessels, so I knew he drank. So I was like, look, I really like your demeanor. You seem like you can handle me. If you can handle me, you can handle my heart. And I put him to the test and got in my weight loss program. I asked him if he quit drinking. Well, one of my guides said, you don't want someone to quit drinking that's been a drinker.
True.
So then I knew that he wasn't the one. And I was like, okay, let me pray on this and ask for guidance.
Yeah.
One of my besties came and stayed with me. She said, oh, let's call my auntie. She had open heart surgery and she got minimally invasive surgery. But here's I don't know if you could see it on camera, but here's my scar. You can barely see it. So I got
your hair might be covering it.
Minimally invasive surgery is basically incredible. So the other thing I want to tell you.
I see it now.
Right.
Wow.
Is that I asked every single surgeon I only chose one. I asked the one surgeon that I actually said yes to, I need 5 of your patients' phone numbers so I can call them and talk to them. And I met them on Zoom. I was in tears, hysterical. They cut you from here to here when they do that surgery. Yeah. That was a no.
Yeah.
So remember, anybody out there who's going to get anything done, ask to talk to at least 5 people. I don't care what it is. Money managing, heart surgery, plastic surgery, gallbladder, I don't know, just ask for 5 contacts because then you'll see the kind of work they did. And when I did, I said, hey, I'm going to have a plastic surgeon in the room. And he goes, no, you're not. I'll sew you up. And I was like, why? This is the guy who I wanted to quit drinking and get him to lose weight. And then I met my friend's auntie and I went back to him and I said, hey, I want minimally invasive surgery. And he goes, oh, I'm not doing that for you. I can't. No, Whitney, no. And I just got his no. And then I slept on it. And I was like, is he telling me no because he can't do it? Because he's at the end of his career. He's old. He's in his 60s. Or because it's not safe. And so I got the heartvalvesurgery.com book. I just prayed and said, okay, I'm going to interview one more. And I found my doctor, who was the first one who said, what kind of valve do you want? And I got the bovine. So I have a little cow heart.
Yeah.
But I put together, this was the biggest project of my life. And I thought, well, why not make this health thing my biggest project? So I put together the prayer group, because I believe that the people that can focus on faith and not fear, those were the people I invited, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are the people I knew would stay in that vibration of trusting that Whitney's got the best doctor, Cedars Sinai. What's the doctor's name? Was it Danny? I want to know what it is. Okay. God, you'd think I'd remember. He held my heart. He was at Cedar Sinai. He moved to Texas. He got recruited right after my heart surgery. It was the most incredible thing. And at the end of the surgery, when I was pulling out the cord, like they put this whole thing for drains in there. The nurse was in awe. She's like, you're the first patient that I've ever pulled this out of that didn't hysterically cry. All I did was breath. Like you would if you were pregnant. How do you breathe through pregnancy?
Yeah.
It's breath and taking people back there. Every time I have a conversation, I try to get people to remember meditation is medication. And that's where you can find source in a way that most people don't realize it. It's this is all new technology, but it's not new. It's just we're becoming aware of it. Like ChatGPT, I've heard has always existed, but we needed to become conscious enough to align with it and to meet it.
Right. So this group that you put together, what did you do with this group?
So I chose a few of my friends to help to set the intentions that were spiritual guides that are very powerful women, and we put together a ceremony. I did one ceremony before the surgery where we had a little sound bowl, and I did my sound bowl. I have a sound bowl, and then my girlfriend did a prayer, and we did setting up the environment. Basically, it's calling in the ancestors, the 4 directions. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So I like different spiritual modalities. So I use the women in my life that are very spiritual that I knew would help me set this up so it would be a successful surgery, because I believe you can do all kinds of fun, cool stuff and be creative to set a container like you do here so that you get the best outcome. And that's what I did. I set the container. We got together. I let everybody go around and share their prayer for me. And I created the space. It was super powerful, super beautiful. I took videos. I still have the videos that I kept to take myself through the memory of that. And it still to this day is something that I'm more proud of than any other part of my life. I got the surgery during COVID.
Wow. And would you say doing all of that definitely aided in the actual surgery and also your recovery time, that it just went with you through the whole process?
I can't answer that question because do I know for sure that it did? What I'm clear on is when you have a project, whether it's a kid or anything else, when you set the best intention and you stay focused on what you want to create and the love that you can build within that environment, and calling in all the helpers, the best possible out. What is supposed to happen? Am I supposed to be here? I only know because I'm here.
Right. So you had this surgery. You obviously had a good recovery, I'm assuming, right? Did that all go well?
It's very painful. And the worst part of it was the, what's it called when you can't go poo?
Constipation.
I've never been constipated before. That was like the worst thing I've ever experienced. And it was from the tramadol they put me on.
I was going to say that was from meds. Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
The rest of it was breathing and loving myself and doing my meditations and staying focused on what I'm grateful for. I got to recover in Malibu. One of my besties I'm going to Greece with, she took care of me, and a doctor friend who was part of my team, she came and took care of me the second part. So, and I actually had a breakdown with her as I was recovering, which was unfortunate. Talk about competitiveness or comparison. So it was unfortunate, but I feel like some people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
A big believer.
I don't have to be upset or angry. Bless her. And I wish her well. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity and that she was kind enough to help take care of me.
So then from Southern California, is that when you bounced over here to Florida, or did you go?
Oh, I've been traveling for years.
Okay. So then so you had your surgery in 2020. You recovered in Southern California, and then did you continue to travel?
Yeah. One of my besties, I'm so grateful for her. She has helped me so much. She's been such an angel. She told me she was pregnant. We reconnected, and she's like, I told her I'd just gotten the lease at where I was living. They raised the rent. They sold the property for $8 million. And I was like, I need to move. And she was, well, our house in Park City is vacant. Do you want to go stay in the house? And I said, could I stay there for 4 months? She said, sure. And then I contacted my next bestie, which was in Hawaii. And I said, could I stay there for 6 months? Sure. So I just moved from Park City the day that I left. It snowed. And the horses and the beauty and the nature there. And her home was so beautiful. I felt so fortunate and blessed. Then I went to Hawaii, and I lived in Hawaii for 6 months, and Hawaii spit me out. It rained for 6 weeks. And then I went to Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. I just traveled to see where I wanted to live, and I ended up here, and I got sick here, which, I believe everything happens for a reason. And my girlfriend said, don't go to Spain if you're sick, because you don't speak the language. You don't want to be sick in Spain. So I was supposed to go to Spain for the summer. So I stayed and swam every day in the ocean here, which you can't do in SoCal.
It's nice.
No,
right?
no, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
And spiritually, I was like, this is home.
Why did you choose Florida?
Well, one of my besties with the 6-year-old, I'm in love with her little girl. And actually in my book, I opened the book with, How many people had a parent who actually sat with them in their emotions? I've gotten to witness this girl, my girlfriend, raise her little girl with that kind of communication. Where are you feeling it in your body, honey? I mean, granted, there's moments, everybody has their moments, and you have to step up sometimes, but she's done such a beautiful job, and they live in Puerto Rico. So I moved to Puerto Rico for 4 months. I tried that on. It's not a place for a single white woman who doesn't speak Spanish. If I spoke Spanish, I could maybe pull it off, but I just don't think that was the spot for me. Not, yeah. I hope that comes out the way I meant it. But then what happened in Puerto Rico? I can't remember why that one didn't work. But it's hard to get food. Everything's hard there. So it's a harder life. It's more work than it is to do it here. So this was just the match.
Yeah.
So then when you first got to Florida, did you...
I lived in Costa Rica too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And that spit me out too. They stole all my stuff.
Oh man.
So I just go places but it was a gift. So yes, it was rough. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I found a video of myself the day that they stole all my stuff. I was still very spiritually alert. Like, what's the purpose here? Why? What happened? I didn't get raped.
Yeah.
They didn't beat me up. They stole my stuff while I was sleeping. Fortunately, I smoked pot that night. So I was passed out. It was a Super Bowl with the neighbors. And they crawled through my window, pulled the cell phone was sitting right there. But I wasn't injured. And when you think about your life and you focus on those things that went wrong, it's this lesson that my former partner taught me in business. He took a white piece of paper out and he wrote a black dot on it. He used to hold it up. And he did this with me one time when I was like, I wanted to give up with that business we built 1,000 times. And I walk in and I'm like, oh shit, the shipping's not working. So he writes this black dot. He holds up the piece of paper and he goes, what do you see? And I said, a black dot. And then he goes, but what about all the white space? What about everything else that's going on around you? Like, it's just money. It's just material stuff. And I've really come to become aware of that it's not about the other things. So when they stole my stuff, I was just so fortunate that I realized that this place just doesn't want me to live here. And a woman said, what if this is initiation? And I said, if this is how this place initiates, I'm not interested. Yeah. And I've had a man say that to me before. He goes, but I love you. And I'm like, but this isn't how I'm going to be loved.
Well, that brings me to my next question. So when your relationship ended, how soon did you wait until you entered the dating world, and how has the dating world been for you at this age of your life?
Yeah. Well, I had a Kundalini awakening and I needed to explore that. So the person who helped me awaken my Kundalini after we ended, I entered into a very crazy experience that I wish I hadn't done, but was necessary because I probably would have never left. As I know a lot of people probably understand, when you're in a relationship that's not painful or hard, it's just over. It's scary to leave. So fortunately, I had a magnet that pulled me out of that relationship that got me to want to see what else experiences I could have. And then after that, it's just been, he was the first person I ever was intimate with sober.
Wow.
So I had a lot of exploring to do. I've been sober for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I still care about him to this day very much. And we're still great friends. So I want to be conscious of honoring that relationship and not, I don't know what this conversation will do for people who know us. So I just also am very aware of that. But I just have been exploring. And the funny thing is, I've said the whole time I want to have a relationship, but I just did the 30-day tantric hold. For the first time, 8 years. And I had a 6-month relationship. But I've said I wanted to have a long-term, but I never demonstrated that to the universe.
Right.
So the first time I did that, I had the relationship that helped me start my book.
Wow.
And it wasn't the relationship that I choose for me to be in long-term, but it was the one that I needed to be in for me to open up. But I had some fun.
So are there still good men out there to date, would you say? Because there's such mixed messages if you go on social media or if you talk to people, and especially for women our age. I mean, is there still positive options?
Here's how I'll frame it, because I've heard all those stories too. I think now, as I am growing more and more into loving and being present in myself and really having that visual of the best scenario I could possibly imagine for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I am attracting different types of people. You attract the lessons that you need. I attracted the same person. So what was ironic too was I studied my cards of destiny, which is the deck of playing cards, but it's a tarot. The tarot allegedly was the original deck of playing cards. And when I studied that, when I fell in love with it, is when it said the person before you and after you came here to do karma with. My mother was after me, which is the Jack of Clubs. My partner, my former partner, was the Nine of Clubs. And this last person that I was with is also the Nine of Clubs. So I repeated that relationship because I hadn't quite gotten the complete lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And limerence, I don't know if anybody's had limerence. I projected onto many relationships. And one of my counsels said to me, but Whitney, weren't all the men you dated married? And I was like, oh, yeah. So the first one, when I was in San Diego, I knew for 20 years. He came to me and said, hey, I'm getting a divorce, da, 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 da. And I got like all swept up in that story. And rather than saying to myself, as I know what happens because I've gone through it, if somebody's entangled in a connection, they have to untangle from that connection. And it takes work, time, space. Now, men will go from one to the next a little more easily than women. But what do I want? And I wasn't asking that question. So I would bounce from one to the next. And the last two that were here, one lived at home with the ex and 3 kids. So if you're looking for a sign, really great though. I was so grateful. That was a great connection. Good person, great guy. I mean, the answer is yes. There's lots of great people, lots of great options. I was deceived a few times about whether or not they were married. So, you know, I didn't know how to navigate that. I do now. People Finders is great, by the way.
People Finders, that'll tell you if someone's married.
People Finders is something you want to do with everyone that you get connected to, or ask somebody to do an FBI background check, because that's new necessary tactics in our digital world, just for those women out there or men out there who are dating and want to know what's the background of this person. It'll tell you their financial stuff. It gives you everything that you need to know.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why I don't give my phone number out to people, because if they have your phone number, they can look you up. Actually, with your first and last name, they can too. But it's shocking what you can find
that's
out.
amazing. So, okay. So that's positive though. I mean, there is still something out there, but a lot of it depends on where you're coming from.
Well, whatever you need to learn is what you're going to attract. And when you're ready for that big relationship, I haven't been ready for it. I thought I was. I wanted it. And I had a psychic. I love psychics and mediums, by the way. If anybody needs a great psychic, message me, because I've got a list. And she told me years ago, before I was 50, she said, your big relationship is going to come later in life. And she goes, I don't want to scare you. You're going to have people between now and then, but you're going to find your total chakra match when you find yourself. Because we can't meet other people where we haven't met ourselves. And what kind of relationship did I really want to have in the state I was in? Do I want to attract someone when I'm bitter, angry, unhappy, physically not where I want to be? You're going to attract who you are. That's just reality. So you want to get to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be and attract from there.
Yeah.
You got to say that slower. You're not going to meet people where you've not met yourself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to process that.
Okay.
I get it intellectually, but I'm trying to now draw an example to it.
Get it. So I've met myself in all kinds of medicine, sobriety, meditation, in the most deepest areas of myself. And I'm happy to come on a podcast and talk about some of the most intimate parts of my life. Now, some people that would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some people would resist it. Some people would downright not like it.
She's pointing at me because I haven't done my story on our episode here.
Like our podcasts are stories, and I did mine first, because if I'm going to ask people to come and share their story, I better share mine first. Right. And I'm comfortable with that, because
I wish I would have listened to that before this. That might be one thing to send to people so that they can get a frame and a context for how to share. Because I will go back. Would you send that to me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll remind you.
For sure. Yeah.
But what you're saying is that you've invited him to come on and share, and he's not ready.
He's not ready.
Okay. So we fluff their pillows, because it's not my job to stir the people who are sleeping. And it's my decision as to whether or not I want to participate in a relationship where, so the last relationship that I was in, as I said, I wrote the chapter, The Man Who Showed Me Who My Father Is.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that guy. I would love to be connected, but he's not met himself in his own shit. I've done all my work, maybe not all of it, but I've done 90. I've done a lot of stuff. I've dug it, and I keep digging it, and I'm still doing it. And I love knowing myself. So he's got to be pretty.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Met.
It's such an interesting thing because when you're in a marriage and you start at a certain place, we were very young. We were 23, right?
Yes.
We got married, so we didn't even know who I was still dealing with all my damage. And then I've gone through, then I grinded, raised children, but I also have gone through resolving, healing, and I'm still doing that. But I've faced everything, and I know where everything is and why.
You faced your dragons?
I faced my demons, I faced my dragons. So it's interesting when you're in a relationship, if one person is in that process or has gone through that process or embraces that process, and then the other person isn't quite there, that's interesting in a marriage too. And so the fluff your pillow thing concept you're talking about, that is coming from a place of love. And that is coming from the person who's going through the healing journey has to be okay and accept that their partner isn't ready yet and not have resentment about that or expectations, because it is their journey. So you have to find that place in yourself of, they're just not there yet, and I have to be okay with that. Or I mean, if it gets to the point where the relationship can't work anymore, the relationship ends.
You outgrow each other.
You outgrow each other. What's funny is that with Brian, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go.
But with Brian, I would say in the last couple years, and he'll be the first to say, he went through kind of an enlightenment as a man and started seeing everything differently. And I think realizing a lot of things and continues to. So I feel like he has been unknowingly on that journey. And so he's almost like still doing enough.
Yes. I was going to say enough
where we're still like, maybe I'm here, but he's coming up, he's coming up. So it's not like he's dug in his heels and he's like, nothing's going to change. It's not. And so you have to acknowledge that too.
Yeah. What's enough for you?
Right. Exactly.
I just think everyone operates at a different pace or a different level, and certain things, what's the right way to put this, aren't front and center to feel like you have to confront or deal with something, whereas other things maybe are, but they're more latent and less conscious, or you're less conscious about, if that makes sense. For
you, for the person, it's a subjective experience, so.
Well, I'm also, if I take it away from me, and I'm not doing that out of lack of comfort, I find this interesting, but I think your advice, we've had women come on who've said, I'm done, I've had enough, and they're done with their husband and they move on, and they've found it hard, right? That's part of the question around, are there any good guys out there? Because they've come across a bunch of assholes. I think your way of framing it is very, very interesting. And, you found it in the tarot with the 9 clubs being the same, and you're repeating the same habit. I think a lot of women still do that. And it's really fascinating at our age to think of going out there and trying to find another person if you're into that, or if you're just still learning about yourself. It's going to bring in different people. It's going to bring in different experiences. I find it fascinating just at an intellectual level of, you hit this point, a switch flipped, you went out and you're discovering this other aspect of yourself, this other journey in a sense. That's just another chapter.
Yeah. Thank you.
I find it interesting.
Well, also, like I said, everything I've done in my life has prepared me for the next thing. And I studied with Alison Armstrong, and I highly recommend that to, especially a kingmaker, is that if you've had kings as a child, like you're producing men, then her work is extraordinary. Alison Armstrong is from LA. She's now in Colorado, but her program is called PAX, and understanding men is what she does. For 28 years, she studied men. So the one thing that I think most women haven't done is taken the time out to really get to know the difference between men and women. Like, don't interrupt a man is her number one thing. So I'm very conscientious, not of interrupting you, but of interrupting him, which is interesting because you even said, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I interrupted you. So that is one thing, because women can come back to their train of thought. What she teaches is that men are single-minded, focused. They're going for the thing. She said, don't talk to them in the car about something serious because they're not listening to you. They can't. They're really focused on where they're taking you. They want to be your hero. And men really, when she said, she's like, okay, she had this target on the screen and she goes, what are men after? And I yelled, sex. She goes, no, they just want to be your hero. They really just want to be your hero. Men have gotten lost. They don't fight wars anymore the way they did. They don't have the purpose to work on the farm. They've lost their purpose. Women can work just as hard. We can do everything for ourselves. They used to take care of us. And then she teaches you to let them take care of you. But I love the fact and grateful for the fact that I understand men. So because I've taken the time out to get to know them and myself, the ones who aren't a match, I still give them loved up. I'll still love them up. I don't think that in general people are bad. I think we attract what we need to learn and what we need to know. And yeah, like I said, there are certain things that you do want to check out that, you know, some people don't have the ability to tell the truth completely. And I understand why. People are afraid to get divorced. It's a lot of work. But just from what you were just sharing, I really appreciate your perspective. And I think I'd love to hear your story when you're ready to give it.
I think I'm not, it's not that I'm afraid to do it. I've thought about it so much now, and I'm a thinker. And we've had really remarkable people on here sharing their stories. And you're another one. This is fascinating. But we've really had I want to make sure I do it right, in a sense, and honor it in a way, and try to be complete, because I do want my kids to be able to listen to it at some point and get the perspective of me. And I do think we're a special generation. I think we've had some really cool things and some really fucked up things, and just what we've seen, right? That's landed in our psyche. So I want to capture it all. I don't want to shortchange it. So I've got to start taking notes or something. I don't know. It'll happen.
Well, but let me ask a question, just from a coaching perspective. What if you did one that is the 1.0, knowing that you're going to do 2.0 and 3.0, and that if it's for yourself though, right? That's why you did it, was for yourself, or did you do it for everybody else? Why did you do the story, Nicole?
I did it for, honestly, I think I put it out there because I wanted my children to have it, and I wanted to have people.
Your children are never going to listen to that. They don't care about that. Right?
Eventually,
maybe when they get older, their
eventually.
grandkids will.
Grandkids, great, for future generations.
Right.
You know, like, because I thought, I wish I could go back and listen to my great grandmother's life.
Yes, that would be cool.
That was it. Or
wow.
Then when we talk about topics, I'm like, I wish I could go back and listen to what my grandmother thought about this. So it was putting a face and a voice for like my great granddaughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also eventually my children. But so that was the first motivation. And then also, if it would help anyone out there, listeners, if they've gone through things.
I really think you should send it to your guests before they come on. And I think it would be great to have your story too, because how incredible is that to hear it from the masculine and the feminine?
Yeah. True. Yeah. No, it'll happen.
Yeah. But I just wanted one last thing on the conversation around growing men, and that you're working on yourself. The fact that you are in the game. For me, the guy that I was dating for 6 months, he got the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. That is my Bible.
Yeah.
I've studied that book for over 20 years. And the fact that he bought it and he was willing, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And the reason, even though I knew he was not a match, I stayed, is because I was able now to step out of the relationship and the pain that it was creating and see where I needed to process the emotions and see this experience from a new perspective that I'd already had. I've already had this experience, the 9 of Clubs.
Yeah.
And my father.
Yeah.
And now I'm having it from an enlightened experience where I'd never been before. So I was emotionally available to myself to heal those parts where I know now the next king that is going to enter my life is going to be a completely different experience than it would have been had I not stayed in that relationship, gotten all the lessons, and held that experience of love.
That's amazing. That makes such perfect sense too.
And I think that's just a totally healthy perspective, though, you're bringing. But you probably didn't have it 8 years ago or whatever, at some point in time, right? You continue to evolve, but I think you're spot on from a healthy perspective and honoring yourself and mental health perspective for yourself.
Absolutely. And it actually leads me to, before I ask my last question, do you have any other?
I do, actually, on this topic, in a sense. So you coach folks or people. What do you see? Let me frame it, I guess. What she was talking about, my enlightenment, I guess, or if I'm right, as I'm evolving from an ogre. There's, I think an element of that is when I turned 50, it was like things, and I've asked people, it's kind of corny, but it's like, man, once I turn 50, I start seeing things a little differently, right? So there's something biological there or chronological there. But as far as your coaching with people, do you see a difference in their maybe level of enlightenment or a self-awareness, ability to transform themselves, given their age? So like a 35-year-old versus a 40 versus a 40.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. And what I found, because most of the people who can afford to pay for me and are looking for guidance and coaching is more middle-aged. The last couple that I worked with were early 40s. So I would just say that the individual who is committed to whether it's healing, self-awareness, growth, that's what it comes down to. I don't know that age has as much to do with it. Now, I've met some 20-year-olds that blow my mind just recently.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is like doing so much. And I just asked myself, God, if I was that far advanced back then, I wasn't doing cocaine and drinking, like, where would I be now? Jiminy Christmases. So I do believe that every age has its opportunities. When I turned 30, like you just said, when I turned 50, I had an evolution. When I turned 31, I remember that's when I had to get healthy physically. I was like, oh, wow, this stuff is catching up with me. And then when I turned 40, that's when I started doing the medicine journey and found out I had to get heart surgery. And then 50s, I got heart surgery.
Yeah.
So you do it when it's right. I think everything happens at the right time. So this enlightenment that you're going through.
Yeah. So it's not chronological. It's definitely situational.
Spiritual. I think spirit is a big part of it, and how you're raised and your environment. We can only know what we know.
Yeah.
Our parents are doing the best that they can. And you guys did the best that you could with the tools and resources.
Yeah.
And now we have more tools and resources. So then people get to decide, do I want to invest my time and energy into there? But if people don't find value in it, they're not going to invest into it. Like being a coach for people, I'm a coach for people who are ready to change, because I can't do it for them. I've tried to buy it for them. I've tried to do it for them. I've learned over the years that just like in AA, you got to hit rock bottom. Those are the people who get sober. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're ready to make a change with your physical, mental, and financial. When you are so done being that 49-year-old that you're stepping into your 50s and you're like,
yeah, that makes sense. Any other questions?
No, I guess one last thing is, it's interesting. I have not drank like cold turkey since April 5th of this year. I only know the day because it wasn't a monumental day. We were at Billy Strings, and it was afterwards we went and had some drinks. But I haven't drank in going on 6 months. I don't know if I had hit rock bottom there, as much as it was like, oh, I just feel like shit. And I don't want to feel like shit for the next 3 days. I'm going to try this. And it's stuck.
Yeah. No, he has, like, where I've had that occasional drink with special occasion, he's stuck with it.
Yeah,
so, and I know you feel great.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And he was the type where he had one martini, he had 3 more. Like,
well, how frequently were you drinking?
Oh, well, in our heyday, in our 40s, nightly.
Oh, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our 40s.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You can't do that when you hit 50.
No, and I think that's the big driver. It's not like it was.
How you feel.
Yeah, it's just how I feel. And it's a health choice, right? The whole, you had mentioned, how to reverse metabolic syndrome. I do too. But mine was more out of fear. It was like, I got my blood test. It's like, holy shit, I'm going to die in 5 years if I don't fix this. So I'm going to fix this. And I went and fixed it. And I'm wonderful now.
Congratulations. And you're
thanks.
Yeah.
So it was a physical thing for you, physical health and how you felt.
Yeah.
And it was a conscious decision that you decided to stop drinking. So so this is what they teach us in AA. Everybody has a different rock bottom and everybody's a different kind of alcoholic. I chose my sobriety date. It's January 2000.
Yep.
That was it. I knew I was done. I chose my sobriety date. So some people have the ability to do that. And some people struggle with the addiction their whole lives where, I mean, I've talked to people who still crave it and want it. And gosh, that would be so difficult. Smoking. God, I wish I could smoke.
Yeah.
Like cigarettes. Like, oh my God, whenever I see somebody with one of those puffers, I get on it. And then I wrestle them for it.
So you have no cravings for anything well, it sounds like you have cravings for like nicotine out of a cigarette.
When I see other people smoking, not a cigarette, but the vape things that people do. Because I was using the Zyn. That's how I got sick. I was using that Zyn stuff too much. Because I'm like, if one's good, let's do 10. You know, I'm an addict. So, and I should say it differently because I'm no longer an addict to certain things. But I feel like when you make that decision and then you back it up with disciplined choices and you have a purpose behind it, it doesn't matter where your rock bottom is. Your rock bottom was here. Mine was here where I was doing sleep. So
do you have any inclination to drink at all now? No. Or is it left your system?
So now I look at it as spirit because I've danced with so many other spirits.
Yeah.
There's spirit in everything. Everything has a spirit. This has a spirit. Like if you believe that everything has a spirit, I know that particular spirit, even though I've done so much work and maybe I wouldn't have any issues, I might not, but it takes me further away from God. Yeah. And the medicines, this is what I've told people before, the hard medicines, I think I heard this on Entourage years ago. I used to do the hard medicines. Now I do the ones that connect me with God.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just, they relax my nervous system, drop me into spirit, are used for meditation, facilitate deeper connection with my source.
So my last question is always, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I visualize that constantly, every day. So much joy, so much gratitude, so much love, so much beauty, so much power, so much abundance, so much giving. I am in such an incredible place right now. What I want to do is have my Whitney 3.0 moment. So, you know, I've been thinking about what to call my book, which, The Richest Woman in Midlife, Triggered. I don't know. I am not clear what it's going to be called, but I want to create something that's going to touch millions of lives and would like to be part of a pioneering group that helps evolve our consciousness so that people are happier, more fulfilled, more joy, even if it's just a percentage and it's a community that I get to help spearhead and I get to support that, speaking on stages all over the world again and doing things that I love. And having a partnership with somebody that I call my beloved, because the thing is about being in a partnership, you get each other to do things you wouldn't normally. Like she's trying to get you to do the story. You probably get her to do things that are active. Like, I don't know. I skied. My skis are parked at my girlfriend's place. So I'd love to go skiing. I'd love someone to get me out of my comfort zone, to do things that are going to be more active, that a guy is going to carry my surfboard to the water so I don't have to carry it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is kind of the place that I see myself, more love, more giving, more growth in my community and the people that I get to surround myself with. And how old will I be 5 years from now?
We'll be 59. You're 54,
we're
right?
59 before
59.
60th birthday.
59, yes.
That's crazy.
Healthy.
Yeah.
I want to be healthy because what I'm seeing now are people that are, I'm going to do an event, by the way. I don't know if your mom's here. She's not, is she? Oh,
yeah, she lives with us.
Oh my God, we're going to bring her if you want to bring her. So I met a woman who is 79 years old. Her shoulders are in way better shape than mine. Her body is fit and she teaches water Pilates and she heats her pool to 90 degrees. She lives up in Wellington. And I'm going to get a group of women who want to learn water Pilates that are going to bring their moms. And we're going to create a network and a community of women as we get older who are actively contributing. She grabbed my face and she said, I would adopt you. Like that kind of community to have women, the Jewish moms are like, oh, they're after my heart. But to have a group of people together where we're engaging and then women they live longer than men. They have a lot of well-being and wellness and, you know, and if we could bring together that community for a purpose that's greater than ourselves and also have fun and engage, that would be amazing.
No, that sounds awesome. Yeah. You have to keep me
that's
posted
part of it.
on that.
But that's part of what I want to create.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things I can see myself contributing to. And I'm just so grateful to, and then let me show the last thing. Okay. So this is the Dr. Joe stuff. So I imagine myself on his stage sharing about how I healed my aneurysm, because that comes along with the aortic bicuspid valve, and my valve grows back. And I am the healthiest version. No more migraines, no more anything. And I haven't had a migraine, and I have to look at my calendar, but that I'm able to heal myself, that I am able to step into that future self, into that fifth dimension that he teaches in class about just having and holding the thoughts and the vibration and the frequency of love, gratitude, joy, bliss, happiness, health. And I have that frequency enough. I'm tapping into something so frequently that it's enough to pull in that unbelievable health. Because I swear to God, I feel like my skin looks better since I've been living more and more in that space.
Yeah.
So that's one of my visions for 5 years from now, is I'm on his stage sharing publicly about how I've been able to take that work and integrate it into my life in such a way that I am healed in physical ways that I didn't even imagine I was able to do.
That's amazing. It's a wonderful 5-year goal. It's awesome. It's full of so much positivity. And I hope you keep me posted on all the things that you have going on.
You're my high school sister.
Yes.
You're my sunset sister.
Yeah, I love that. I was at the Sunset House all those years ago. So
can you believe that?
No. I mean, I'm so grateful that we were brought back together. We reconnected. And I'm so grateful to you, Whitney, for coming on and sharing your story. I know that it will touch so many listeners. And it's just a fascinating, amazing journey. You have so much to share, so much wisdom to share. And you're not even close to being done. I just can't wait to see what more you do. I can't wait for the book. And I hope you'll come back on once it's published and available to talk about the book and promote the book. We would love to have you back. But again, thank you for sharing your story. It's just been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, totally. This has been awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. I think you're going to touch a lot of our listeners. We have a lot of female listeners. I think you're just such an empowering force for women, women our age and even younger. Right? And that is our demographic. I just think you're going to be an empowering force, a role model, an example, just a positive energy for them. I'm excited to see what kind of commentary we get, to be honest with you. Me too. It's going to be great. Good. And for our listeners, we will include everywhere you can find Whitney in the show notes, her socials, her website. If you have any questions for Whitney, we will make sure she sees them so she can respond to you. But if you want to reach out to Whitney for coaching, all of that information will be in the show notes. We'll make sure you can get in touch with her. And again, once her book comes out, we will hopefully have her back on to talk about that. I have one more comment just to say how impressed I am with both of you. And if you think about frequency, that I'm riding this high frequency and working so hard, and we were brought together for a purpose. Yes. GenX adulting is a really powerful experience that you guys created. Look, I was supposed to be off, but I sat with it. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This experience, I got tingles. I got chills. You guys are creating something really powerful here, really powerful. And the experience of getting to sit in your own medicine and have somebody really listen and ask really penetrating questions and really care. There is nothing quite like this. It's tasty medicine. And I'm really grateful that you invited me to have this experience. Thank you. Well, thank you for your kind words. And we're so grateful. I knew our hard stop had passed, and I'm just grateful you stayed. Me too. So thank you. And thank you for your kind words. It means a lot, really. It does. Yeah. And were you gonna... No, I was just going to say, we really appreciate you coming in. It's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed your time here. I know I can speak for the both of us. This has been awesome. Absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for being an open book. I mean, it's 100%, trusting us 100%. What we've got going on. And I know our listeners. I trust myself. Yes. There you go. And that's so when you trust yourself, whatever happens around you, you have to trust that it's happening for the right purpose. And this is my future. Yeah. And I have to pee just like your dog. Yeah, I know. She's trying to go out. Okay. So listeners, again, thank you for listening. Please leave any questions, comments. We love it. And we will see you next time. Bye.